Welcome, everyone. We've got an incredibly special show tonight. We have Yvan Tamba, a partner solution architect with AWS, who came to us while he was in college. His first tech job was with AWS as a solution architect, and he was one of the finest students I've ever had. Before we get into this, I remember on his first day, he was wearing a red shirt, white shirt. Hi, I want to let you know that you're here. And I looked at him and I was so happy. I literally felt like this is the next cloud architect hired by AWS. I could see it in his eyes, and he's impressed me every day that I've known him.
Yeah, that was a sharp looking guy at the end of that video. I'm pretty excited about being hired there.
Oh yeah,
Really, but I mean,
that's the energy we like to see.
he had the energy, the enthusiasm, the passion, and his heart was right. He's still out there mentoring people that are part of our company, Cloud Heroes Africa, and he's trying to change the world. And we love Yvan. It was such an honor to work with him. So everybody says you can have a cloud architect job with no experience, but that's nonsense. We've got students getting cloud hired every day, cloud architect, no experience all the time. The key to getting that cloud architect job is really about knowing how to be a cloud architect, what does a cloud architect do, and mastering cloud architect skills versus cloud engineering skills, because they're so different. And that's why we created a cloud architect course specifically to train cloud architects. And I'm sure you can ask him how to get your first cloud architect job. You can talk about the cloud architect interview experience because he's had it, he's passed it, and he's won. We'll talk about cloud architect career training. You can ask questions about the cloud architect resume, the cloud architect job description, which is the funniest thing in the world, according to me. It's a comedy routine. And I've been using it as a comedy routine forever because I've been an architect now for 25 years, 2.5 decades. We can talk about what really needs to be on a cloud architect resume. We'll talk about the real cloud architect job description or the solution architect job skills, because they're not what you think they are unless you've been part of our training. I can tell you that right now. They'll talk about cloud architect job skills, how to become a cloud architect, and of course, we'll address what does a cloud architect do. So it's going to be a really fun night. Again, we're going to talk to Yvan about how he got his first cloud architect job, what he does in his cloud architect job, the skills of a cloud architect versus the skills of a cloud engineer, because they are so different. And 99% of the world that wants a cloud architect job trains to be a cloud admin or a cloud engineer, and they go to a cloud architect job and they just don't get hired. In fact, a director over at AWS called me a year ago and actually came to one of our classes and says, I love the way you train cloud architects because you're not training techies. You're training business leaders that understand technology with the right soft skills, executive presence, communication skills. And when you hear Yvan speak, even at his young age, you'll see that he acts and carries himself like a 40-year-old executive, despite being, 25 years old, Yvan?
Yeah.
25 years old, but where do you see him? He's amazing. I've trained about 3 or 4 people that I wish were my own son, and Yvan's one of them. You always hear me talking about that. His level of decency, his motivation, his caring. You'll see why we love him so much. So my team's going to talk about some of the free and exciting things we have coming for you in the next couple of weeks, and we've got a lot of them. I'll interview Yvan, then we'll all start discussing and chatting with Yvan, and then you can ask him any questions, because I want you all to get your first cloud architect job. And no, you don't need experience to get a cloud architect job. You need competency, energy, enthusiasm, passion, executive presence, good leadership skills, good sales skills. I mean, Yvan is one of the many that we have as proof, and you'll see why Yvan got hired. And I promise you, we're not going to be talking about configuring things like that. So anyway, Chris and Elonzo, you want to talk about all the new things that are coming up?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start it off and then I'll hand it off to Elonzo. So tomorrow we actually have our next mock interview session, and that will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to put a link here in the chat box. Give me just a second. I'm kind of turning into Mike here with about 15 different tabs open. So, so give me just a moment to put this in the chat box here.
Now you know why I can't find anything.
Yeah, now I know.
4 monitors, stuff going everywhere.
There's a guy a couple offices
Here,
down from me. He has, I swear, it's 130-inch wide curved monitor. I'm like, that's what I need. I've got one monitor that has everything, not 3 separate monitors, but one big one. And I know Mike tried that at one point, and that did. He was like, no, not working.
yeah, but you gotta. It's like trying to group all the tabs, like you're playing cards or Uno or something. You got to group them by subject matter or whatever.
Right. So tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we've got our mock interview session, and next week, on a week from today, on our next show, we will have Alvin DaCosta, the Vice President of Global Partner Organizations at NVIDIA, will be joining us. And that will be a very, very exciting, very exciting time. He's been on here before, but I think it's been about a year now since he's been on here. So I'm going to put that in the chat box as well. If you'll set a reminder for that. That's going to be a very exciting show. Again, that's Alvin DaCosta. He's the vice president over at NVIDIA. So you don't want to miss out on that.
No.
Now, I know we've got a couple of boot camps coming up, so I'll let Elonzo talk about those.
All right, guys and gals and everyone else. You guys have asked for it time and time again, and about the associates. You asked about the professional. Now we're going to combine the two for an amazing boot camp starting next week. It's going to be awesome all next week. And following up next month in November, we're going to be doing the AWS Advanced Networking Bootcamp as well. So we're going to have a 1-2 punch this month and next month to give you everything you need to be trained up, ready to go, to understand about the architecture, about AWS, so that you can be successful in everything you do. So we're looking
forward.
Alonzo.
We're not just going to do the AWS Advanced Networking Bootcamp, because that's kind of like intro to junior level networking. We're going to add BGP. We're going to draw out IP address planning. We're going to get into switching. Yes. We're getting into VLAN tagging, VLAN trunking. We'll get involved in DNS, ARP, and proxy ARP. We'll get involved a little bit in interior gateway protocols. So it's the advanced networking plus what you really need to know.
And more, right. That's absolutely right.
So I'm gonna interrupt here and let everybody know that Mike has already broken the rules. As everybody knows, Mike is not he's not in the best health right now. He's been a little sick, and his voice has not been cooperating with him. And I laid out some very clear rules before we started this.
Mike.
That he has to follow tonight and tomorrow, or else he doesn't get to do any more of these things for you guys.
Mike is a rogue today.
So he's already broken the rules once. So I'm going to ask everybody in the chat box, if you see Mike interject when someone else has talked and he adds more to it, say, Mike, we get it.
Let's do a hashtag. Stop it, Mike.
Hashtag stop it, Mike.
That's what we'll do. Hashtag stop it, Mike. Save your voice, Mike.
Yeah,
so that's what we'll do.
So I also want to take that opportunity to let everyone know that we normally do a live how to get your first cloud job webinar on Thursdays. We will not be doing that this Thursday because of the reasons that I've just explained. So you can still find our previous iteration of that webinar on our YouTube channel, and please take a look at that. I'll actually put the link out there now to make sure that everybody can find that previous version of the how to get your first cloud architect job webinar. But we have to protect Mike. He has very clear rules for tomorrow and for tonight, and it's going to be my responsibility to make sure that he sticks to the rules. But so that's what we've got for you guys coming up. It's a lot of exciting things. So just to wrap it up, we've got the interview session tomorrow. We've got we have the boot camp, AWS Architect Associate, AWS Certified Solutions Architect boot camp starting next Tuesday. We have Alvin DaCosta from NVIDIA next Tuesday. We have the AWS Advanced Networking Plus in November. And then we still have additional things that we've not announced because we don't want to announce 15 things at once and everybody not know where to go.
No one overwhelmed.
Yeah. So anyway, Elonzo, anything else to add before we leave this to the professionals?
I think we've satisfied the requirement for right now. I'm sure everyone is looking forward to having that exchange between Yvan Tamba and Mike Gibbs. So let's go.
All right. So let's hand it over. For everybody that doesn't know, Yvan actually joined us on YouTube last December.
Mm.
And I believe that was when you were actually offered the job,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
last
exactly.
December.
Yeah,
But they were gracious enough to work out with you that you start in May, I believe.
yeah, yeah.
So you've now been on the roll for about 3 or 4 months.
Three, yeah, 4 months.
All right. So this is our career check-in with Yvan. So we'll hand it over to Yvan and Mike, and Elonzo and I will just go sit back, grab the popcorn, and enjoy the show.
Let's go.
All right.
Wow, we're like musical chairs or musical squares around here. So, Yvonne, it's just a privilege to see you again. I want to give a little back history to show how amazing you truly are and to show how hard it is to find someone as good as you. So, we found you about a year ago. No, I'd say it's
Yeah.
about a year.
Yeah, yeah,
You came to us. I remember you in your first class. Hi, Mike, I'm here, and I'm going to learn. And I was thrilled. Before you got hired by AWS, you had a story about driving to school and your part-time job that you had. So could you tell people what your work job was, your last work job, as well as how far you were driving back to school each day?
yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Mike, for before starting. Thank you, Mike, for having me here today. It's always a pleasure to to be on this platform and to be able to share the to be able to share what the cloud is and help other people in the same way. Uh, so for those who don't know me, I know me Yvan Tamba. I'm a partner station architect at Amazon Web Services. So I joined the Grow Cloud Architect program. It was September 2021. And during that time, I was finishing my senior year in college, and I was commuting. I wasn't driving, but I was riding the bus. So I was commuting between, because I wasn't living on campus. So I was spending between 15 hours commuting every week. And since it was kind of very demanding my last year, so I was rewatching the video that was having in class because I wasn't, my schedule at school was kind of, confronting with Go Cloud schedule. So just watching the video of your of the class when I was commuting. And the way and it was I want to say it was like very difficult, right? Even though it could have been, but I would say it was just the passion because I really liked the way the program was set up. When I got the certificate, because during the program I was already AWS associate and professional certified, but my understanding of the cloud wasn't very clear. Right, I got a certification, but then I don't even think I was being able to perform a migration or to understand what company I was on premise and to be able to match those services or equipment on premises with what the cloud was able to offer because the certification only focused on the cloud and nothing else. So the program can allow me to have that understanding of what is on premise and what's in the cloud and how I can create a bridge between both.
So fantastic. So we touched the cloud. What was your last job, though? It was your physical
Yeah,
last
yeah,
job?
absolutely. So my last job, when I was in college, I was a waiter. I was working in an Italian restaurant, uh, not far from my house, because I live in Austin, Texas, but I moved from I was living in Atlanta before.
The reason I say this is people say you can't get hired without being a cloud engineer or a sysops or DevOps, and I say it's nonsense. And I can't even count how many people we got hired because it's a couple each week, but almost one every day, and I'm thrilled that. So people have this misconception of what a cloud architect actually does. Do the cloud architects touch the technology at AWS?
No, no, we don't.
Do they design, present, and sell? Does that sound similar to the role?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do. Just to talk about technology. Just one thing I want to mention upfront is that as a partner solution architect, I'm not even allowed to to uh, do something into a customer or partner account. Like when I say into the AWS environment of the partner. But what I can do, I can help the partner in the solution, right? Maybe in the design. Maybe I can help them with something very specific. I also do what on the business side of the role. So when a partner decided to come down and work with AWS, the one important thing is to understand what the partner is trying to achieve onto AWS cloud, because that's the first part is That's the business part, right? The other part is understand the partner solution, right? What's a partner solution and how I can help the partner have that exposure on AWS, and how the partner solution will benefit the end customer, and how I can help the partner, uh, and how I can help the partner solution be a better, maybe have a better impact, or have a significant impact on the customer. So it's much related to understanding the partner solution, the business side of it, also, but nothing related to working onto the partner account or environment on AWS.
Yeah, and that's in my 25 years of being an architect. And every architect I know, we're not allowed to touch the tech. There's engineers that are trained to touch the tech. We're supposed to get the business requirements, figure out what the customer's business challenges, then figure out how we solve them, and then map that to the beautiful cloud technology that AWS and other clouds have to offer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So since you're not touching the tech, what percentage of your time is in meetings?
Oh, I remember one of my colleague. He recently told me that sometime on Friday he feels so sad because he feel like he just spent his entire week doing meetings, right? So we spend a lot of time in meetings because as a partner solution architect or something that I need to mention what we do. We do what we call a foundational technical review. So when a partner decided to come into AWS, into our call AWS partner network, we need to evaluate the solution of the partner. We need to evaluate the solution of the partner against our requirement to see if they follow best practices. So, and then we are as a partner solution, we do that. And so by doing that, you need to meet with the partner. You need to meet with the partner sometimes to understand the solution. So there's a lot of meeting going on in the thing. So yeah.
So, and for others that are there, I've been in the partner world too. Partners are people that you either use their technology, like Palo Alto or Fortinet, for example, if you need a next generation firewall on AWS, or they're people that sell your stuff.
Yep.
I've worked with both. So when we're trying to get partners to sell this stuff, at least in my experience, we did a lot of demand generation events, speaking at conferences, working conference booths, meeting with clients and selling stuff, and entertaining clients, buying lunches, dinners, and drinks. Do you do any of that in your life?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, last week I did attend a conference for there was a current event conference here in Austin, and one of our partner, Confluent, they have a solution hosted on AWS. So I did attend that conference with other team members, and we're kind of supporting the partner that event, and that also event, putting a highlight into the partner solution and how that is hosted on AWS and how customer can leverage that. So we do conferences. Like I told you earlier today, I was attending another immersion day for Palo Alto, so supporting a Palo Alto software firewall and showcase how that software firewall can integrate with AWS and how customer can benefit from that. So we do a lot of that, supporting our partner into those different events, either immersion days, seminary, summit, or even workshop.
Remember in class, we did a lot of these high security environments.
Yeah.
Where we use network load
I
balancers.
remember you were always putting that Palo Alto, and at the time I didn't have any idea of what Palo Alto was, right? And then we were always switching. Okay, you were always saying that for balancing from the gateway load balancer, you put like the IDS, IPS, and then you put a Palo Alto, because it's like you're always saying that's the next generation firewall, and it's a very high end product.
So would you say our training accurately represented the job?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like the presentation skill, I think is very important. Even communication. I'm still, like I say, I'm still learning how to carry myself and to present. But in college, I studied computer engineering, so I didn't have a chance to have to present a lot. And even though my presentation skill was not very accurate, right? It was not very I would say very high. So through the program, I learned how to present, but most importantly, I learned how to sell, because when you present something, it's like you're selling that thing, right? And I need to buy it. Like when you present something, the executive listening to you have to be able to buy whatever you're selling at the end of the presentation. So that's something that I learned through the program, that presenting is actually selling in some shape or form. And I remember one day I present, and then I said something, but I wasn't very how to say it. Maybe it was a little bit shy the way I was presenting, and then you made me. It was like, okay, go down, do some push-up. I did like 5 push-up, and then I come back like, okay, present again. It was very different because it has more energy into it. So I said those are the skills that I really get from the program: that presentation skill, communication, and also how to brand myself. I wasn't really seeing myself as a brand, but the program taught me about how I can brand myself, and I think I did that also by creating my blog. I was able to share my understanding of the cloud, and also through that create like a brand around myself.
And didn't we talk about how to build your brand and create a blog and what kind of social media post and how to tune your resume to get the world to see it?
Yeah, and even the technical part of the buying your own server. I mean, I don't have it anymore because I don't have it anymore. I think I sold it after after graduating. But I bought the server, like the program required, and then I was able to deploy some of the thing from my place instead of logging into Google Cloud or server, and be able to do some visualization.
Yeah.
So that's also technical piece that was very important because I understand the cloud, but I have buy my own server and be able to visualize it and be able to have the different Linux. And I mean, I didn't buy any Windows because Windows was very expensive, right? But Linux was free, so I just downloaded Linux OS and have that different stuff in my environment. Was very helpful to understand the bigger picture of the cloud.
And I love buying your own server. Well, you don't want to know how many I have in my house. And I've always had them in my house through my career because you slap on a hypervisor like VMware, and in the things you can test anything you want. I wasn't really required for my job, but there's still a little techie in me, and I just hide it because when I see a customer, if I act like a techie, I'll be escorted out of the room by security. They're expecting an architect, a business executive, but I love it. When I saw inflation getting really bad, I bought so many servers that every student can build clouds at any time they want because I was excited about it. Now, I talked about CXO relevancy and the ability to know what to say to the CEO, the CFO, the CTO. Have you ever spoken to any C-level executives at your 25 years old?
Yeah, I did. I think it was very. So we have we're working on a project in our team, and we're supposed to kind of have an interaction with some cost partners. And the meeting, sometime I was just talking to CEOs, and I remember my first meeting when I see like we're going to talk to a CEO and CTO of this company, I was a little bit scared, right? Because I was like, I'm 25, and because I was able to go through the partner website and take a look before, because you always have to have the understanding of the solution before going to the meetings. Otherwise, it seems like you just come there unprepared, right? So, and I was able to have a picture of the CEO and the CTO before going to the meeting. And I was just looking at me, and I was like, what am I going to say to them? It was just like maybe 2 months into the role, 2 months and a half, or close to 3 months. But I think it's mostly around the knowledge that you have. It doesn't matter, your age doesn't matter, your background doesn't matter. But if you come into the role, right, you're able to learn, because learn is very important. Able to learn to accommodate yourself, and then once you get in those meetings, you know that you only trying to understand the partner first, and then help the partners. So at the end of the day, you can only deliver, and then there's no them trying to seems like they're better than you. It just you're trying to help someone. So so that was basically my first experience was very kind of scared a little bit. But
now I want to make it so clear. When AWS hired you or tried to hire, did you have a degree at the time?
At the time, I didn't have a degree because I was in college. Yeah,
and I want to make it very clear, and you do have a degree now, and I want to talk about that in a minute. But have you seen other cloud architects, solution architects get hired without degrees?
Yep. I think even when you look at the requirement that they have, sometimes they will say a bachelor degree on equivalent. So an equivalent in here is mostly related to your skills. Right?
It's all related.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You can get a job even that, because that's what is listed onto AWS requirement that they have is qualification for the different solution architect. At least the partner solution architect, I've seen it. So
yeah, and here's the thing: AWS liked you so much that without experience, that they hired you in December without a degree, and they waited for you until May for your first day. Is that not true?
Yeah.
So they waited for someone without experience 6 months for their first day because you were that good. You were that good. I want you to remember that. You were that good that the largest cloud provider in the world waited 6 months for a guy that had no experience just to hire you.
Yeah.
That's because you're that good. That's one of the reasons I always talk about. I always talk about young class because I'm so proud of you. Now, I say communication skills are the most critical skill for the cloud architect. I actually got kicked out of a Reddit group for saying that because they were saying coding and configuring was the most critical things. They literally kicked me out for saying communication skills were the most critical things. That was one of the reasons they kicked me out. How critical are communication skills for the architect?
I think it's I think it might be one of the most important skills that you need, because the first thing is you need to be able to understand, like for example, in the role as a partner architect, you need to be able to understand the partners, right, and then to be able to convey the right message. And communication is very important because a miscommunication can delay maybe a partner solution be deployed into AWS, right? A miscommunication might can be a barrier between the partner thinking that the process maybe, or even whatever AWS trying to achieve with AWS might take too long, or maybe it's not quite that important. So communication is very important here. So you understand the partner, you understand the business, you understand what they want to achieve in the cloud, you understand the solution. In that way, that's the only way you're able to better assist them, and maybe the faster way possible. So communication is quite important. Even communicating with your team. I still have problem, right? I'm still learning, trying to better my communication skill. But even when communicating to your manager about something, it has to be accurate. It has to be accurate, and it has to be very short. Yeah, and you always remember you telling that when you write something, make it very short, make it precise, and write. I think what I was saying, seventh grade. I think that's what you always are telling us, writing on the seventh grade, so that even like when you write, someone a kid from seventh grade can really understand, at least have 80% understanding of what you're trying to say or convey through that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ability to write. So we touch on executive writing. So that was critical for the job too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, do you have to build teams on demand?
Say it again, please.
You build teams on demand of people to put stuff together?
No.
Okay, you will be. It's just a matter of a year or two, Yvonne. You will be. Now, like I said, I was banned on Reddit, and then 60 magazines published my articles. Big magazines, Information Week, Tech Republic or Tech Radar, Investors Business Daily, all the big ones came down and sucked me in. So the plan is you're not coding or even allowed in your job for your real job. You're not configuring. You're not allowed to touch the technology. You're designing, presenting, and selling. So business knowledge, how important was business knowledge?
I think business knowledge, it wasn't something that was touched during the interview, but it's something like into the role. You kind of see how important it is for you to have business knowledge, because like I say, sometimes before having going to the meeting with a partner, at least I have to understand the business solution. I need to understand the business of the partner. So I always go to the website, or if the partner provides some documentation I can read, I always go to the website and trying to understand really what the partner is, what they do, right? So that's the business part of it. I need to understand what the partner does. So it's very important to have that skills, or be able to do that. Because that's the only way you can communicate with the partner. That's the only way you can help the partner. So if you understand them.
You doing any entertaining clients, buying lunches, dinners, drinks, or somebody buying you lunches, dinners, and drinks? Is that part of your job?
Business and drink. I haven't. I think I have one coming, but I'm not sure I'm going to attend that one. But sometime, yeah, definitely. Because on the thing, you see that if you can have a meeting with the partners, for example, to help them, and that can be through dinners or something like that. But I haven't get the chance to be invited to one, or maybe to host.
You will be. You will be. At some point, your whole job is going to be entertain clients, and entertain more clients. But with COVID and things like that, we're not traveling as much.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can design, present, and sell. So when I said that, which of course got me kicked off of Reddit, how accurate is design, present, and sell?
Design
a solution.
Design a solution. So as a partner solution, so most of the time when a partner comes into AWS, most of the time they have the solution already designed. But what I do help them, because the solution architect, I usually working with them. So when they have created an account, sometimes they have a solution architect assigned to them, because I'm a partner solution architect. It's a bit different roles. So solution architect will help the partner design the solution into AWS. Then when they want to join the APN network, the Amazon partner network, I have to conduct a review to evaluate that their solution respect AWS best practices. And that's also comes somehow involve the design, because let's say, and there's a different checklist of control that they need to pass to be able to, to be able to consider as an AWS partner, right? And those different checklists kind of touch on design, because at the same time I have to make sure that they have a workload that highly available, for example, that have some software resiliency. I have to make sure that they have maybe a system in place that if the root account get compromised, then they have a runbook in place to be able to remediate to that. So that's the design piece of it, right? Even though it's not me going and showing them exactly how to put all the pieces together, but that's touched on the design of the solution to make sure you follow AWS best practices before them integrating on the AWS partner network.
Totally. And that's also because you're in the channel, the partner channel. And I've been in the
Yeah,
channel.
you can say, yeah, I'm in the partner channel, which is a bit different from other.
And it's a great place. You know, in,
Yeah, I mean,
in a direct environment, most of
Yeah.
your solution architects are meeting with clients and trying to sell them stuff, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what I really like about the partner network, because you really, I think, it's like you have the partner, so the partner can have the customer, which is also AWS end customer, and I like about this. That's what I like about it. Yeah.
When I was at Cisco, I was in the channel for about a year. And, you know, I was working with IBM and we were educating IBM about our stuff. And then we would integrate the IBM stuff and with our stuff. I had a friend who worked with the CDW account. I knew somebody else that worked with HP, Dimension Data, all those other companies. I loved it. I really loved it. So it sounds like a lot of meetings, communication meetings, phone calls, conference calls.
Yeah, a lot of phone calls. Most of the time, so the phone call will be like a channel call. We use our own the internal software tool, but it can be phone call, it can be video call. It just depends how comfortable us or the partner feel to open turn on the camera. Yeah, we do that phone call meetings and also a different event, because like I said, we are supporting a lot of our partners through different event. Like we have what we call game days. So game days is one thing that the partner network runs. So game days is a gamified way to use AWS. So it can be like, okay, let's say we create this game event where when participant come into the event, they have like a AWS console assigned, and they have to work in it to play the game into the account or the console. Now they have like an auto scaling group, and in that auto scaling group, they have some EC2 instance. But one instance, for example, is on the attack. So now it is the goal of the participant to remediate, right, to that attack, right? What they can do is maybe take one instance, the one on the attack, to put it into an into security group. We have no access at all, you know. So you shut down the inbound and outbound rules, right? And then you do a forensic analysis on that particular instance to see how the attack is being performed. And then from there, once you find how the attack is being performed, you can now create a web application firewall that you're going to attach to an elastic load balancer that's going to be fronted from the auto scaling group. So we have like different stuff like that, games. So, and I really like about it is like when you take the AWS certification exam, you learn about services, but sometimes you don't learn about how to integrate together easily. And since you never, really have that hands-on, because some people will just learn about AWS certification without even practicing, just kind of memorize everything. And I think I used to do that too, right? So, but through the game days, you can really put that knowledge into practice, even though you don't work for AWS, right? So that's something
Absolutely.
that we do. And
But as architects, we don't touch the tech.
Yeah.
We don't touch the tech. It's not part of our lives. That's somebody else's job. Now, there's an African proverb that I've lived by for about 25 years since I went into tech. And it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So, Yvan, how much teamwork is done at AWS for the solution architect?
No, a lot of teamwork, a lot. Especially me coming into the role, there was already people there before me, so I did receive a lot of hope from my team, from my teammate, and I think even my success in this role is going to be that will play a lot into my success in this role. For example, I can work on a subject, right, and maybe let's say I'm working on something related to IoT, Internet of Things, and then find out that the same partner maybe also deliver healthcare solution, right? So I can reach out to another partner solution architect that can specialize in healthcare, and then we can team up and work together on that case. That way, we're coming from two different ends with two different knowledge, but apply it to the partner, and we can better assist our partners. So teamwork is very important. I mean, it's a key of success at AWS.
My view is one person. I don't care if you're the greatest person in the world with 25 years experience is 25 years. I get 50 people with 10 years of experience, and I have a weak solution architect, but a great executive. Got 500 years of experience. So would you say it would be possible to build these teams and work together without good communication skills, soft skills, and emotional intelligence?
No, I mean, soft skills are very important because people want to work with someone that they feel comfortable being around. That's one thing, right? And even though they might not feel comfortable being around you, maybe because they're gonna work with you because they have to do it. It's this job requirement, but maybe they might not be able to deliver 100% or feel more comfortable, to fully express themselves. I want to say, right? But if they feel very comfortable, if you have the social skills to be able to tune yourself into other people's emotion, understand them, and better accommodate for you to work for that teamwork to be perfect and be able to deliver. I think that's play a lot of that's big because by doing that, you allow your team to perform and you allow your team to deliver. So social skills are very important. Even sometimes it can be more important than technical skills, right? It depends on the case. Because someone can be very technical, but you're not technical, but you're able to bring the person into the project, and you do that by using your social skills. So
Now, my students, once they get hired, generally correct me because I believe that the architect role is half technical and half business. What percentage would you think is business versus technical now that you've been an architect?
mm, what percent is business? Uh,
It can be more than mine. I'm okay with it.
I don't have like an exact idea of what percentage can be business because I haven't really taken time to dive deep in it and trying
Okay,
to
so let me describe the two, and then you can pick whether it's business or technical. Business is communicating with others, building teams, planning something to sell to someone, going to meetings, writing up plans, dealing with statements of work, um, dealing with best practices,
okay.
looking at budgeting and things like that. Tech is, you know, talking about a load balancer versus talking about a web server. What would you say percentage of business? How much of your job is business versus
I'll probably say 80% of business.
80% business?
I'll probably say 80% business. And one of the thing uh, for me, it kind of makes sense because we're talking about social skill, we're talking about the business, talking about the technical aspect of it. It kind of makes sense because when I was doing my interview, the interview was mostly centric around, it was heavy on leadership principles. And the leadership principles, even though there was some question to see how you behave, right? To see how you behave, it was mostly focused around understanding, see if you can be a good fit for the job for the role. So it wasn't the technical aspect wasn't too big, right? I would say even during an interview, I probably have 80% as well business rated business question, maybe business rated in terms of social skills and all that, and only 20% rated to technical.
Oh wait, you had to present to get hired? You mean there was a presentation involved?
Yeah, there was a presentation, but I didn't do a presentation. I didn't. I don't know if it was a chance or not, but I didn't do a presentation. I think I probably mentioned that last time, but I have a blog and people. My phone interview or
Okay.
the phone interview that I have before the last one, I mentioned my blog and the interview already took a look at my blog. I have like 10 posts about the time. So I believe maybe that's what helped me avoid the presentation
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
loop because they were able to see that I was already designing some architecture.
Totally.
I know that for the same role other people did present. So
And something I've told people forever. Sometimes when you're so good, they don't even put you through all the paces. They don't want to lose you. I suspect that's what happened. By the way, did we talk about building a blog and writing thought leadership documents and changing your brand and changing a resume from I did this tech stuff to the business aspect in tech?
yeah, I think we did that. Talking about the brand, talking about the blog. I mean, that was the thing I was already listening because, like I say, I joined the Google Executive program after getting certified, and when I was after getting the SA Pro, and when I was studying for the SA Pro, and I was saying, I was watching a video on YouTube. You I was talking about getting this and doing that, and I was like, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna join the program so I can do that. And having a blog was a big one for me because writing is still an issue, but it was a big one. So so it was a big one. So when you put it forward, it's like you should have a blog. You should have a blog, and I think I leverage my blog even to get interview, even to get them to to review my resume because one of the things that I did, I applied to the job, but I wasn't getting any response back last year. So what I did, I reached out to different recruiters from AWS recruiters on LinkedIn. I think I sent email like message to 13.
Good.
And I was saying like I'm doing this. I've been I'm cloud. I'm highly energetic, highly motivated. I've been studying cloud for for 20 hours for the last years, and this is what I've done. And I've always putting a link to my blog, so you can take a look at my at my work. And one of them responded and was like, okay, send the job description. We did apply. And then 2 days later, they sent me the skill assessment test. So I think even having that blog, I believe that did help me even to pass on the interview.
So I've interviewed thousands of hiring managers and recruiters over the last 25 years, because how else could I get people hired unless I knew what hiring managers wanted? So hiring managers tell me they want someone that can actually do the job in competency, then someone they can trust, then someone that knows what they know and knows what they don't know, so they don't take down the cloud like the Google Cloud was taken down by a BGT error. Then they tell me they want energy, enthusiasm, and passion. They want someone that brings out the best in others, someone that's willing to go above and beyond, and someone that's a team player. Did you put any of that in those messages that you sent to those recruiters?
I think I did. I think I did. Someone being energetic. So I think the way I formatted my the message I was sending to them was really that highlighting all the different skills, but mostly about energetic, right? Something, and I want to learn. I'm passionate about the cloud, so I want to learn. So if you take a look at my blog, you will see that I have like 10 posts, right? They're all related to the cloud. They're all related to show how energetic I am, right? And something you can earn a trust, because by doing that, it really shows that I'm passionate, right? And it really shows that I might not be fully competent for the position, but you can see that I'm coachable. And that's also something a company like AWS is looking. Someone who's coachable, someone who's learn and be curious. I think that's my favorite leadership principle at AWS is learn and be curious. Because like the cloud goes so fast. AWS has 200 and plus services, right? Maybe 5 years from now, you're going to be 250, right? So you have to learn every day. And by also, like I say, having that blog post, it was just me showing that I'm learning. I'm not into AWS. I'm not working for AWS, but I'm already writing blog posts about AWS. So I'm learning and I'm being curious. So,
well, it showed your communication skills.
Yeah, exactly.
It showed your ability to write like an architect. It showed energy, enthusiasm, and passion writing that blog. It showed that you weren't talking about how to code stuff. Like I said, one of the directors at AWS came to one of my classes. First, he called me and said, "Can I speak to your class?" He said, "You're the only person that I've seen so far that focuses on business acumen, leadership, executive presence, sales skills." By the way, I got kicked down from Reddit for this. Got like 10 face ban awards, and somebody said that he looks like he's only touched technology once in the 80s when he first saw his computer, and that was it. But looking at these kind of funny things, which I view as a compliment, when the certification providers get you kicked off, because basically, I've been retraining their people for a long time now, but I'm really concerned that you're hired, that you're having a good time, that you know what it is. So lots of business in your job, lots of meetings in your job. You don't touch the tech in your job. You've seen lots of people get hired with no degrees and experience, right?
Yeah. I think that definitely happened.
Coyote was one of our students.
I have even friends, like you're saying, I have even friends who doesn't necessarily work for AWS. I have other people that I did help, like Jermaine. The other people that I did help who are now working as a solution architect. So I know people who are getting hired or without a degree. Like I said, the cloud is not a major in college yet, right? So the demand is for cloud solution architect is very high. And because it's not a major school yet, a company are having hard time finding maybe people have not that knowledge. Because I was in college, there was only one class of cloud computing. I mean, it was an AWS class, but there was only one class for the undergrad, only one class talking about cloud computing. So when I was studying cloud in the Go Cloud program, all my friends was like, "What are you doing?" Right? Because it wasn't a thing, and some of them wouldn't even understand what I was studying, right? Because we were all doing computer engineering, but I was doing that and something else, which was completely new to them, right? So just to say how the demand for solution architect or cloud engineer can be is very high. So
it's very high demand. Now, we've gotten people hired that have zero certifications whatsoever. You think learning the name of a service and how to configure that service and a certification would prepare anybody for a cloud architect job?
I mean, it didn't prepare me, because I remember when I got a professional, I just asked myself if I can perform the job. but the answer was no. Right away, the answer was no. Because for me, I think like you can learn a lot. You can go and memorize all the different services and do a lot. But when it comes down to really sit down and design architecture after getting just those certification, it's very hard, especially if you don't have any background into the field,
Yeah.
right? But what I really like about the Go Cloud program is, when I joined the program, you didn't just talk about services. It was more about the cloud computing, and
Yeah.
that's what I like about it. Where you, like mentioned earlier, we're talking about Palo Alto, right? I was in the program talking about Palo Alto. We're talking about Cisco. We're talking about the different company having services that interact with the cloud. We're talking about how you go from on premise and you migrate to the cloud. We're talking about different stuff, right? So those are the things that have a really impact on myself and kind of help me really understand what solution architect is, and mostly what cloud computing is.
Now, this year we've gotten people jobs at Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, JP Morgan Chase, KPMG, Deloitte, Accenture, Bearing Point, and the point is, a lot of them at JP Morgan Chase. And here's the thing: none of them touched the technology, ever, and many of them got hired with zero experience. Microsoft hired several of our architects without experience. JP Morgan Chase hired a lot of them because they were just like you. Now, we did a lot of work on the network and the data center, so you would know what the stuff is that you were moving.
Yeah.
If you didn't study the network and the data center, would you really understand what the stuff is, what a virtual machine truly is?
No, I wouldn't. And I'll say it was a big plus for me, especially like I say, especially buying my own server, installing the router in my bedroom, having the router, having the server, getting the VMware XSI hypervisor on it, having the different Linux machine, and then on top of that, being able to install my own OpenStack Ansible Cloud. So that was a plus. Like, so that was a plus. Like, real family people don't have that knowledge. They don't even know what that means, right? So networking is big, and I'm even working on one of our partners right now, which is have like an amazing networking solution. I can't share it right now, but they have an amazing networking solution. And I think working the program, we talk about EBS, but you're talking about a different EBS, RAID 5, RAID 6, and then how this is not possible on this platform because of that. If I go to this supermarket or shop, I can buy this and have the same performance, and all that kind of did really help me understand networking.
And that's good, and that's why I did it, because my perception is, if you don't know what the stuff is, you can't build a plan to get it to the cloud, which is what an architect does.
Yeah.
By the way, Reddit kind of banned me on that too. I got 50 face plan awards and dummy awards for saying that in order to understand the new tech, you have to understand the tech that you're actually moving as an architect. So I viewed that as kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
So you're doing business, you're doing good. New apartment, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
You went from that wonderful Georgia Tech sweatshirt to this really super classy shirt. No,
We're trying. Yeah, a year. I think it was a year later. So yeah.
I want to make it clear, you're not just working as an architect. I've seen you coach lots of people. You've done some work with Cloud Heroes Africa, which is for us a big partnership to help people in sub-Saharan Africa to start to learn cloud computing. My good friend Samara Shang is part of it. I've seen you so many times, and I want to thank you for that too, because you're not just doing it. You're 25 years old. You're not just thinking about yourself. You're really thinking about how to make the world a better place.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a lot of people, even reaching out on YouTube, YouTube, on LinkedIn, asking for help, asking what skill do I need. I'm really thinking about going under the partner solution architect or either a solution architect role. What skill do you think I need, and what should I focus on? I'm studying for the certification. How can I do this? So, I mean, for me, it's always a pleasure to be able to share my leader knowledge with other people and help them become the best of them, become the best version of themselves. So, and if along the way I can support them, maybe I can teach them. So that's something I love to do. So,
and you know what? That's actually helping you too. One of the reasons that I wanted everybody to partner with Cloud Heroes Africa was for two reasons. One, it's one of the nicest organizations I know, that and the War Fund Group, and I actively participate in both. And I've recently hired 2 people out of Cloud Heroes Africa because I love the program. But 2, when you have to educate your partners on technology that you have, or educate your customers, having that teaching experience is kind of valuable.
Yeah, definitely. there's always a way to, there's always a way to convey message, always a way to share your knowledge or your understanding. So you have to do it in a proper way. You have to do it in a way that you empower the person in front of you, not yourself, right? Even though you're the one sharing the knowledge. So having a teacher experience is always a plus. So yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Yvonne. I cried when you got hired, and just watching you now, it's bringing tears to my eyes. You're all grown up. You're a professional. You're an executive, and you're just doing so amazing. I couldn't be more happy.
Thank
Chris,
you.
Elonzo, why don't you pop in, ask wonderful, wonderful Yvan Tamba. He's an inspiration to us all. Came to America at 15 years old. I remember he found a family from the church to live in while he went to school. He's all honor, all everything that you can say about the world is good about Yvan. So let's bring you guys in.
I couldn't agree more. I Chris and I were just watching. We're just sitting there and just enjoying the interaction, the story that he started from here and he has arrived. Look at him. I mean, you can see the story in his face. You can see the experience. You can hear the experience in his voice and in his words. A lot of alignment, a lot of parallels of what is being taught here is reflected in his job and in his environment. I feel like I'm watching a great play of a game and just seeing, how the father has seen his son leave the nest and being able to take flight. I mean, it's a wonderful story, and I am so excited and hyped, and it's not even me. So, I love seeing this. We see it time and time again. Delroy, Yvonne, Daniel, and from different age groups. You got Bob Welch. We've got Sig Wolf. We've got a lot of people, and even though they come from different parts of the planet with different levels of experience and technology, they're still being funneled into the same pathway of Go Cloud career success and coming out the other end. Wonderful, and I feel like again I'm watching a great play. Back to you, Chris. This is awesome.
I just saw, before you get there, I just saw Coyotes here.
Yeah.
Coyote, another incredible student that's of ours
Yeah.
working at AWS. Coyote, we love you as well.
Yes.
I know you're always reaching out to us and taking good care of my students. I know one who you're working with right now. The student you're working with, she's amazing, and thank you. But Coyote, welcome too. Guess I'll go back to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how. Oh, I see his handle. Okay. Yeah. Where? Let me put this up. There we go. From Coyote, Yvan is a great cloud architect, coach, leader, and motivator. It is a great pleasure to work with him at AWS. There you go.
That's
Same
awesome.
here, same here. Yeah, we both live in Austin, so we met a couple times in the office. We even both got our security certification last week, and we were studying together. Actually, we were studying. We were going again at the office and studying for like 7 to 10 p.m. So that was very nice. So it's always nice to have that book architect brotherhood and be able to keep that out even after the program. So
Yeah. And would you have met without Go Cloud Careers?
no, I don't think so, because he contacted me through after watching one video. He was in class one time. Mike invited him in class, and then after that, I have a presentation, and he reached out to me. Yeah. So
I'm going to call out to Coyote now. It's like, Coyote, now your turn now.
Yeah.
we got to get you on here.
I mean, we think about let's think about it, team. We've got the training, we've got the business acumen, we've got the presentation skills. We're able to do all of these wonderful things, and then all the benefits that we don't even focus on. You think about the networking, the connections. Beside, it goes far beyond borders, cities, and everything else, and how everything just comes to fruition. This is the things that I keep beating a dead horse, but I keep saying it over and over again. This is what I live for. This is what I love to see. This is how I love to see it. I love to see the excitement in their voices. I love to see how the experience of what they've been training for is exactly reflected in how they're living their daily professional lives. I mean, it's not snake oil salesman. It's not just hype. It's not any of this stuff. This is real world training, real world applications that's being exercised here. And I love seeing it, man. I'm hyped. I love it. This is awesome.
This is what it's all about.
This is
So
what it's all about. Yeah.
I'm going to put the most important question up here
Okay.
first for you, Yvonne. So Mick B wants to know before he gets to the soft skills questions, what position do you play in football?
So I'm a right back.
You're right back. All
Yeah.
right.
So let
And he plays soccer too. Yeah.
yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He knows the suit. He knows the suit.
Yeah. So I figured we'd get to the most important one first before we get to the rest of them. But I do want to. There was another question, and we've kind of, and we just briefly mentioned it, and I want to make sure that you actually talk about that you actually answer this question.
Okay.
Because Mike has Mike has said it, and Elonzo has said. But if you could give us a little bit about your. So David asked where you were born. So if you could give us a little bit about, tell us about yourself.
That's an interview question.
We want a little bit more than 30 seconds.
I know.
Now this is the telltale. So buckle in, everyone.
So David, so a little bit about myself. So I was born in Cameroon, that's Central Africa, 5th January 1997. I'm the fifth of family of six. I lost my father when I was 7, raised by my mom. So all 6 raised by my mom. I came to the United States in 2015, 17, I believe by the time. Yeah. So when I came to the state, I started with community college. That was 2015, October. But what happened is that 2 months into the school, I lost my sponsor. So, and I wasn't able to, January 2016, I'm not able to go to school because there's no more money, right? So I met this couple I guess I was living in Atlanta. So I met a couple in my parish, St. Jude. I think they liked me, what I say. So they liked me and they decided to help me, right, to help me go back to school. So we kind of worked together with other parishioners and collected some money. And in summer 2016, that's when we were able to raise enough money for me to go back to school. That's when I kind of restarted college. I started going to community college in Dunwoody in Georgia. So after 2 to 3 years in community college, I'm accepted to Georgia Tech as a computer engineering for transfer. That's May 2019. But when you move from a community college to a university at Georgia Tech, the tuition goes from here to here, right? Especially when you're not a permanent resident, so you pay out of state tuition. So from there it was very hard because the tuition kind of increased exponentially, and we need to find a new way, maybe a way to get more money. So I was supposed to start summer 2019, but because of the lack of resources, I was kind of pushed and started August 2019. I did 1 semester, the fall 2019 semester, but then coming to the spring 2020, there was no more money. So that was before the COVID hit. So I had to stop. So I took like a semester off again. I just started working. I was already working in a restaurant, right? And I was working there, so I just went there full time now. And that was during COVID. So the good thing is the restaurant was working. We didn't close during COVID, so we're open. We have like a very nice open space in front of the restaurant. So we create like a system where car can come and park, and we just hand them the food. So we're open. So I was able to save $12,000 from January, I believe, from February 2020 till June 2020. I saved $12,000, and then I talked to that couple again, and they were impressed by what I have. So they decided to to go back and create like maybe have more people raising more money to help me again for the fall 2020. So that's when I went back to school. I was able to raise enough money to went back to school, and that's for 2020, raise more money, go back to school, and then I've been able to stay and graduate this year. Yeah. So it was quite of an interesting journey. Yeah. But one thing I always say is like when I was Georgia Tech, I would go to school every semester without knowing if I would be able to come back the next one. So I was just enjoying every single semester, right? So that's what I would say was very like an interesting journey. Yeah.
So Yvonne, you just displayed something. I always tell people it's those that are willing to build the right plan and work the hardest and never quit till they get successful. Whether it be a Navy SEAL that's going through buds or you display all the mental toughness, all the energy, enthusiasm, all the passion, everything that anybody would need on their team and want on their team.
Yeah, I think the important takeaway from that story is that none of those steps were easy.
None.
Yeah.
A lot of people that don't take the time to think about it would hear, I found a couple at the church that helped me, and they would think that that's easy. That is not easy. Like that is and then a lot of people would hear, and I'm speaking from a Western, from a Western culture. A lot of people would hear, I applied to Georgia Tech and I got in, and think that's easy.
Now,
Georgia Tech.
I got it. I was accepted the second time, not the first one.
Right. So that's what I was going to say.
You didn't
Georgia
give up.
Tech is,
Yeah.
Georgia Tech has like a less than a 20% acceptance rate.
Yeah. So basically, when I did apply for the first time, it was to start in. So I applied in, I believe October 2018, to start in January 2019, but I wasn't accepted. So I reached out. I have like a very good GPA, and I was kind of filling out all the requirements. So I reached out to an admission advisor from Georgia Tech asking, why am I being rejected? I feel like I have everything I need. And then she was like, there was an optional essay that I didn't do. And she was like, when it's very competitive, you need to do every single thing they require, even if it's optional, because that's something that they can use when it's very tight, to give you the seat. So I did that again when I applied again, and then that's how I was accepted. So, but in my mind, it was like, it's on Georgia Tech. So I'm going there or I'm going there. So that's all.
That was going to be about follow-up. So it was Georgia Tech or it was Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Like we were going to Georgia Tech. Okay. So
I think the underlying thing about that is that he made a decision. He worked his plan, planned his work. He didn't have a plan B. He stuck with it. He didn't give up. Every step that he made was intentional. If it didn't work out, he followed through with why it didn't work out, replanned and got the information that he needed to make his next step. And then he was able to move on effectively back and forth. So he didn't, and I think what's really important here is that he did not accept, or he did not think that it was going to be a get rich quick. It wasn't going to be a quick set of circumstances. This was not a one and done situation. No. He knew that it took time, and he was willing to put in a sacrifice. There were no cutting corners or anything.
And there's so many people that when the money ran out the first time, let alone the second time, that they would have just stopped, and they would have given up, and they would have done something else that didn't make them happy.
Yep.
And that you didn't do that. Alonzo said that you didn't have a plan B, but I think you did have a plan B.
Yeah.
Your plan B was to accomplish plan A. Like your plan B was to do what was necessary
to
get you back on track for plan A. Your plan B was to go work at a restaurant, accumulate enough savings, find others that would see, okay, he's accomplished this. Let's push him over the finish line. And your plan B was to get you back on track to plan A. So
and I think that's a good mindset, because even that did help me doing an interview. Like Mike always say, that interview with AWS was my only interview, because I never interviewed before AWS. Right. And I remember even before the interview, I got some people saying, if you don't get it, it's not a big deal, because it's your first interview. You're just starting doing this thing. But I was thinking about what Mike was saying, that you can go and get it even if it's your first one, right? You don't need the experience, right? You need to convey that knowledge that you have. You need to convey that energy. You need to convey that passion. And you need to convey that you're coachable. And then once you have that, then they can see it, and they can even hire you just based on social skills, even though you don't have the enough technical skill, because those are teachable. But the soft skills, those are something that you have inside you. The coachable thing, that's something that you have inside you. And when they can see that, they can hire you. So even that still helped me. I was like, AWS is AWS, so I'm just gonna get this one.
And that's the thing. Failure to you is not an option. You never quit. When I was in college, I couldn't afford it either. Now, it wasn't as bad for me, but I literally went to school 7 to 3, worked 3 to 11, Monday through Friday. 2 days a week, I also worked 11 to 7, and I showed up for class late, which was not happy. And then I worked a double shift every Saturday and Sunday, and I did it for 4 years straight. Mm-hmm. And when people were like, Mike, you're crazy. What are you doing? I said, how else am I going to go to school? I showed up late because I was doing a 911 call on a heart attack, and a professor one day said, you missed the exam. And I said, I missed the exam to save a life. And he says, well, we're going to drop it. And I was like, well, I guess I got to try harder. Life's not fair. And, never quit until you get to your goals. So, when I say that employers want someone that is willing to go above and beyond, I see that in you.
All right, time's up, Mike.
Well, let me talk because of my throat.
Yeah,
you gotta stay on it.
And that's even something that we have at AWS, right? Say go above and beyond for the partner, go above and beyond for the customer. So I think once you have that, and we'll be able to really go above and beyond to help the partner, help the customer. At the end of the day, it's just a beautiful thing. So yeah.
All right. So since I put Mike back in timeout, let's go on to our.
Well, I'm in timeout. I'm going to let Cindy out real quick because Cindy.
Okay.
Not
and maybe grab some tea while you're at it, Mike.
Be right back.
Tea.
Tea with the B.
Oh, we know he's not going to put the.
I know he's.
we know he's not going to put the honey in there.
Mike and Sugar, they don't ever meet up. So
yeah. All right. Let me find this next question. So Up and Up asks, what are the positions or position that you've had at AWS, Yvan?
Oh, so far, I just started. I started like 4 months ago, so I only have one position so far. So I was being a partner solution architect. So that's a position that I currently hold. Yeah, we will see in the future what the future holds for me. So.
All right. Are you in a? And I know AWS sometimes like they have specific like tracks and paths and stuff like that. Are you in a position that has that, or are you just in a position?
Yeah. So basically, when I joined the role, what I really like about this, because I'm like in scale PSA team, what I really like about it is like they let you choose whatever path you feel passionate about it. It's like some people are gonna go with PSA oriented to healthcare, PSA oriented to networking. But since I really like the Internet of Things portion, because I IoT, so I'm a PSA kind of oriented to Internet of Things.
So, curiosity. I worked 12 years in the hotel and hospitality and leisure industry. Would there be a PSA that would focus on hotels and travel?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We even have, I think AWS has a competency called travel and hospitality. I think they have a competency for
it makes sense. It's a huge
travel and hospitality. They have a competency in that.
Huge industry. You have to develop solutions for the airlines, for companies like Hilton and Marriott and Expedia. Yeah, so it would make sense. So I was just curious, for others out there that might have, years of experience in a certain industry, and they're looking to make a change to cloud. There's that opportunity to find
exactly, because the cloud is taking everything, right? A different field, so you can easily find your field into the cloud and keep doing that passion of yours if it's into that kind of things.
All right, cool.
I like that. I was thinking like around Christmas time, and I'm looking at electronics and whatnot, and then you think about Best Buy when you have those certain parking lots where you're able to dial in that you're there, and then it works the APIs basically to try to make that transaction so you can get your product without having to get out of the car. I mean, it was really a big hit in COVID. So when you think about those type of partners and how you develop those that architecture for them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that relationship and how it spans across, everything that everything that is just happening in our daily lives. And I really like you said, Chris, when it comes to, say, for instance, hospitality, or say, for instance, someone is on the Geek Squad and they want to, get out of a certain specific area and do some real cloud architecture. They're able to utilize those opportunities with that. So I like that.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So I've got two more questions back to back that I'm going to put up, and one I'm going to answer before I let Ivana answer. But like I said, I'm going to put them back. I'm going to put them up back to back. I got to find it. 6:22. Okay. So Rohan asked, "How were you able to finish the course so quickly?" Hold on one second.
Okay.
And then there's another one similar to this. Yvonne, how long did you take in your cloud journey from learning to landing your first job? So I'm going to answer Rohan's question first. He was able to finish the course so quickly because he got hired. Like we consider you finished.
Yeah,
When
that's
you're
graduation.
So some people choose to work through every single piece of the course before trying to get hired, and that's fine. That's appropriate. Some people, like Yvonne here, Yvonne, it's okay if you say this. Did you do every assignment in the course?
Yeah, I mean, I like
Or did you not do every assignment?
I didn't do everything, but I like the way you mentioned it, because that was my understanding when I joined the
Yeah,
program. So
exactly.
I was like, I need to go through the 6 month and then I will apply, because I joined the program in, like I said, it was September, right?
Yeah.
It was early September. And by the time I had my associate in professional, but they were not listed on my LinkedIn, because I was too scared that if I put them on LinkedIn, maybe company gonna come, asking me to apply, and I don't feel ready. And I don't remember his name, but he was one of he was in the program. And then one day I told him that I have all the certifications, but I don't have them on LinkedIn. He was like, "No, go ahead and put them." And I was like, "I don't feel comfortable if a company comes asking me to apply. No, just go ahead and put them." So I did that, and then September I'm in the program. October I did apply for AWS in October. I did apply for AWS in October, and I was moved on to the technical assessment. I believe it was October 28th. So I believe I stayed in the program for like 2 months before applying. And I did apply because I was like, I need to, I wanted to get a job before going to my last semester in college, so I can enjoy my last semester, because it was very, very stressful.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. But also, how I was able to go so quickly. And for me, it was just a mindset. For me, it's like, I need to get a job before my last semester in college. That was a big thing, because like I see like a lot of people, a lot of students do take in the last semester when they start applying for jobs. It can be very stressful. It can be very, very stressful. And I didn't want to go through that kind of stress. That's why I wasn't attending every live classes, but I was always going to the video when I was commuting. I was always putting I think I put a lot of hours studying for the program while I was attending college at the same time, because I have that time frame. I have to get a job before my last semester in college. So that's something
if I remember correctly, when we had you on previously, I think you said and you just kind of mentioned it about your commute. You would listen. You would listen to the classes during your commute. You did bus, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That was what I was doing. Yeah.
So while you were riding the bus, you were listening to the classes.
Because I have 15 hours because back and forth. I have 15 hours per week, and I was like, I'm not gonna, I can use that and trying to work on the program, and then exactly. Yeah. But also one thing, I think that's also one thing important is like what I noticed also, people coming to the program, we have some assignment in the program, like the presentation, like there's one writing assessment where you need to take like a very hard topic, take both sides and do some writing about it. And I feel like some people will join the program and they will just try to come to live class and not do the assignment.
Right.
I see that a lot. I was talking to someone, I was like, you have to do the assignment, because I think by doing those, even the one where you have to send to 3 people and ask them to list your weakness and your strength. I think that's having that to people very close to you and be able to have them to identify your weaknesses and your strength. That's a big plus that you can get. You can really work to improve those weaknesses. So I
Yeah.
think people trying to kind of go away and not trying to do that, say the assignment, but it's something that when you do it, you gain more confidence. Because I remember doing the public speaking one, the presentation one, like the 5 minute talking about myself, the other one taking a topic and present it. So I think you get a lot from it, and I really like Mike feedback. I mean, they were amazing. You're not doing this right. You're not doing this right. So it's yeah, you don't get it a lot when you train for certification. You don't get that. You want to
Yeah.
talk about certification. You don't get that someone giving you feedback about a presentation on something related to cloud computing. So
I'm going to ask you one question before we go to the next one, because it pops up in the chat box every day. People want to call me and spend 20 minutes telling me about their past. And when they're trying to tell me about their past, I say, I don't care about your past. What would you like to do in the future?
Yes.
I want to make this very clear. You never worked in tech before you did this job. You didn't have a help desk job.
no, because the on my resume the only the only intern that I did is Go Cloud.
Right. So other than the internship you did with us,
Yeah,
you had no tech background.
yeah, because I remember Chris sent that internship thing that we signed in September, early September. If you don't remember, maybe you don't really remember, we signed that internship.
I remember.
Thing. Yeah, that's the only internship
all
I
the
did.
special work you did.
Yeah.
But your past has nothing to do with your future.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it in here. I get asked every day. People want to tell me what they did, and I say, look, I used to practice internal medicine. Your past, what you ate yesterday for dinner, does not affect you tomorrow. What you did in your last job doesn't affect you tomorrow. What affects you is you have the right skills, attitude, energy, enthusiasm, passion, and you can be hired.
Yeah.
But you have to get training, though. I mean,
I mean,
certification does not get people cloud architect jobs.
even the things, the world change, technology changed so fast that even something that you learned 20 years ago might not be relevant. So, or maybe 10 years ago might not be relevant. So you need to update yourself. So that's what I'm saying. So sometimes your past might be relevant to what you're trying to accomplish in the future. So what skill or what do you know about where you want to go or want to accomplish in the future? I think that's the only thing that matters.
And if your fundamentals are strong, you're going to realize that nothing changes. Like recently, somebody sent a message and they were all excited about the AWS VIF and the virtual links. And I said, yes, I too was excited back in 1996 when it was called Frame Relay. And then in 1998, because when it was ATM. And then 2001 when it was VPLS. What happens is we do things differently. We virtualize the technology. We use it for new applications. So yes, it changes quickly, but your fundamentals are so strong, Yvan, you're going to pick up any new thing like it's going to be nothing.
All right, thanks, Mike. Moving on.
They don't want me talking.
And we noticed we don't see any tea, Mike.
Yeah, you forget that I actually
that was convenient.
I got alkaline water here.
I've got the mute button. Oh, all right. So our next question is from see Al over here is telling you to save your voice. So if Al's telling you to save your voice, save your voice. So next question is from Tech Fixer for Yvan. If you could share, I know there's some things that you can't talk about from the interview process, of course, just like with most organizations. But if there's any advice that you could share for those of us that, or for those of the community, not us. I'm not looking to go do any cloud architect stuff. I'm a business guy. I run businesses. I don't do architecture. But if you could share some advice for anyone in the community, what would it be?
Okay, yeah. So, like you said, I won't be able to dive deep into the interview experience as they make you sign an NDA. So, but beside that, an advice, coming to Go Cloud and want to learn a job as either part solution architect. So one thing if you're in the program, first thing trying to be present. Trying to give more, spend more time learning, but also I do the assignment. I believe that can help. Even the lab portion is also very important. Another thing, if you have time and you can have a blog, your own blog, maybe talking about cloud computing. You can have different topic because that shows already your passion. Because for someone to take extra time and have to have a blog for cloud computing or for AWS, that show passion. That's also show your communication skills, right? That's another thing. trying to work on your presentation skills. Because one thing that I did was presenting, having my phone recording myself, and if that was something I did before the final interview. I was trying to recording myself and see how I sound and see if I'm well spoken and see what I need to fix. So that's something you can do. Record yourself and be your own critique. And also, I remember before the interview, I was watching a lot of video from Bezos and Warren Buffett, because seeing how they present, see how they carry themselves when they go to those when they have like big meetings. No meetings, but when they have to talk show or podcast. So that was something I was doing to see how they hold themselves. That was I think that helped a lot as well for the interview. Another thing, coming down to the interview, if you have the chance to, already in a skill assessment, or even in a technical interview, trying to communicate a lot with the recruiter, ask the recruiter a lot of resources. They always have those available, and those can really help you. They even have like some recording, some live session where they can help you being more prepared for the interview as well. Um, and the interview at AWS is very focused on AWS leadership principles. So trying to make sure that for leadership principle, you're able to match those to what you're able to accomplish in your life, and you're able to convey that in a very simple and clear manner, right? Respecting the STAR method. Um, anything else for the interview? Okay, AWS, they always say when you come to the interview, you can dress, simple, but if you can dress up, I think it's a good thing, because it gives that impression. It gives that solution architect impression. It gives that executive impression. So if you can have your suit, I think I did, and it was a plus, I believe. Another thing for the interview experience is the interview experience can be very long. So trying to practice a lot and trying to feel more comfortable, because it can be very exhausting. So drink a lot of water. So I don't know what else I can give in that regard, but yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to. I'll just say it. I may not put some questions up because they'll put you in a difficult situation, so I'm not going to put them up. But I just wanted to say that. So if you don't see your question that's put up, it's just because we know he can't answer it, or it's a tricky, difficult. If he were to answer it, it would put him in an awkward position. So that's the last thing we want to do. Let me find the next one here. I think I've got it here. So this next one, I think we spoke about this a bit earlier about the branding and the blogging and things like that, and working on your resume. How did GoCloud help you land your job at AWS? How did they market your profile? I'm going to preface this also by saying our students do their own work. We don't do the work for them.
Yeah.
So
Teach them.
we tell them what to do,
Yeah.
and it's completely up to them to do it.
Right.
So I just by the way that was phrased, I wanted to make sure that we will not do the work for you.
The dream.
Did you help co-author the book, The Solutions Architect Professional
No,
book?
I didn't help out the book, but yeah. So I think I think the program even helped me with my resume, because I believe before that we have one or two resume sessions when Mike was kind of picking someone would just come in and put a resume on, and then Mike would help the person tune it. So I think having my resume, tuned in that level to really fix or match the job description, I think that's something that I get from the job. But like I say, I applied AWS, but I wasn't getting, because I applied many position, and I wasn't getting any reply. So what I did, I went on LinkedIn and start reaching out to different recruiters, showing how energetic I am, showing how passionate I am, kind of branding myself. I have my blog post, so I was always attaching a link of my blog post to the message I was sending to them. I was like, okay, you can see even my work here, right? For like I said, I always say, for a software engineer, the blog post is like an equivalent of a GitHub, right? Where you can show everything, all the coding that you've done on different projects.
I like that right there.
Yeah.
Right. So
Engineers use GitHub. Architects use publication.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they use publications because their job is design, present, and sell, and document, and negotiate.
Sorry, I've never heard it put that succinctly. I'm like, wow, that's brilliant. I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
Stealing that.
Yeah.
Continue.
So for me, it was like for them to be able to, because I need to back up whatever my wording with something solid, and the blog post something solid for me, right? So that's something that I was adding, and that's how I was able to get moved to the skill assessment test. How did I market? How did you market your profile? I think you can take a look at my LinkedIn profile and see the different changes that I did, especially how I listed all the skills, because it's a very good thing to be able to program. It's also very good when you're able to list or what you're able to accomplish or study or do during the program, right? So that's something I also put in there. I got the chance to work on different projects. Like for example, when you go to an interview, you say like I deploy my own OpenStack Ansible cloud. How many people never done that?
Right. Would you have done that if you had not joined Go Cloud Careers?
No, because I would never bought a server.
And here's the thing: other people are setting up an EC2 instance, what I tell an 8-year-old to do in less than 3 minutes, and you're building a cloud.
Yeah.
How did that do for your brand and your knowledge?
Because I was able. I told her to during my interview. I told him that I have, because in my old apartment, my server was just behind me, and I was like, I have my server here. I have an OpenStack Ansible cloud running. I have a cooling system because I was a cooling system on it, right? So I have my mini cloud. So yeah. So I think those stuff can really help, because it's not only about doing it, but it's also about getting the knowledge while doing it. So
Right. Because you don't touch the tech in your job.
Right.
yeah.
Wait, no coding, no configuring. On Reddit, they say that's what people do.
All right. So, let's see. Let me find the next one. If I seem distracted, it's because I'm going back to the old video where we interviewed Yvan to see if I can get a screenshot of the server behind him. But let's see. The next question is, I think it's from Rajesh. Let me see. And again, this is back to the interview thing, so I make sure to think about what you can and can't say. So Rajesh says, did you have to do anything differently to prepare to answer the Amazon leadership principles with limited to no work experience? I know you talked about this earlier about thinking of how to intertwine the principles into what you're doing. So can you talk about that prep in any kind of way?
So I'll just take one example, one principle. Like I said, that's my favorite principle, AWS, learn and be curious. So I remember, so learn and be curious, for example, they can ask a question, talk about a time where you kind of showcase that leadership principle, learn and be curious. So I can talk about a time that maybe I was in college, right? I was working on this project, and I was doing this, but there was this segment on this project that I wasn't very aware of. I didn't have an understanding. I have to deploy the solution, but the team needed help, for someone who can do it, and there was no one. So I decided to take the role to do it and go and learn about it. Right? I was able to deploy the solution, even though I only be able to do it 70%, because for the other 30%, the team end up helping me. So that's a way I learned. I was curious because I took a role that wasn't really mine, and I decided to learn about it, and I was curious about it. So that's how you can attach what you accomplish or what you have done. Either depending what your formal role, or even it can be even anything that you've done in the past, and just find how you can attach that to a leadership principle, and you're able to convey that in a very simple and clear manners, and respecting the STAR method. So that's what it is about.
While we're at it, when we talked about developing integrity, and we talked about being customer focused and solving your customers' problems, etc., in that class, aren't they almost all the leadership principles that we talked about for everybody?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Because they're the ones that the best tech companies want. They all want the same thing.
Yeah, they want the best for the customer. They want the best for the partners. So if they find a candidate, we can help in that regard. We can really go above and beyond for the partner, for the customer who's customer obsessed or partner obsessed. That's what they want. So if you have a story that kind of match where there was a time where you showcase that partner obsessed or customer obsessed, it's always a good thing to throw in there inside the leadership principle when a question pops up. So
yeah, the whole point of a cloud architect is to solve customers' business problems with technology, not focus on Python code. We don't code anyway, but if you don't understand how the business and you don't understand your customers and you can't communicate, how could you solve their problems? Especially if you weren't customer obsessed.
Say it again. I think there was a cut. I couldn't hear you.
What I was saying is if you're not obsessed with your customers, and if you don't understand business and you can't communicate to your customers and find out what they need, how could you solve their problems?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't solve them with Python.
No.
There's architecture.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why AWS was like we work backward. And I really like this, and that's something I really like about the companies that really understand it. It's really about helping the customer. And that's something that I'm really passionate about, right? Starting working backward. What's the customer problem? And then from there, how can we create a solution to help the customer? So
imagine trying to do a PowerPoint presentation in Python or a presentation and trying to do it all in Python.
And what you're saying, like sometimes when you meet with those executives, sometimes it was like, okay, I can't meet with you. I'm gonna put these people on my team in it because there's people that really understand what's going on. Sometimes you meet with them, it's like I don't have an understanding because people from my team, okay, they were supposed to be in a meeting, but they're not there, so I can't really talk about it because I don't know about it, right? So and sometimes it's just about, like you're saying, be able to talk at executive level to show the benefit, how it can help them.
All right, so here we go.
That's the server.
There we go. Back
I remember now.
Yeah, and for any of you that can't see back there, there's his.
The silver is a server, and then the black on top is a cooling, the fan, the cooling fan.
That's dedication right there.
Sure is.
I was working hard to find that picture. So that's what I was doing over here. Yeah. I love that T-shirt though, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
love the T-shirt, but look at the transformation over the last 6 months. New apartment, a nice shirt, by the way. You got a great tailor. You got to tell me your tailor.
All right. So let's see here. So the next one, I think we addressed this one. Yeah, we addressed that one. So let's go with I need music.
I got some reggae, some Bob Marley is my favorite.
Yeah,
that's what I'm slacking on.
That's what we got to do on the Zoom calls, Mike.
Yeah. Reggae is only for the students. You got to be a student to get the reggae.
Got to be a student.
You know me, everything is reggae, and more reggae.
All right. So Pavan asked, does AWS provide training to, and I think we spoke about this previously. Does AWS provide training to choose a specialization after joining them?
Yeah. So you going to say something?
I was going to say, if you could talk a little bit about.
So when you join AWS, there's always you can get like a mentor. So if I decide, for example, to go into the healthcare field, or if I decide to go into the migration field, if I decided to be mostly oriented into IoT, then I can get an IoT mentor. And there's a bunch of program or training specialization that you can go through, to specialize into what you're doing. And your mentor can help a lot in that regard. And so, yeah, they definitely offer a lot of training to help you, be very successful into your role and to have that impact on the team and the customer as well. So.
And if somebody from the team can post Yvonne's LinkedIn link again, I know it was posted earlier. So if someone could take care of that, that would be awesome.
Or look up Romanik Yvan Tamba.
Right. Let's see. Make sure I get the right one. And then, so Lord Processor asked about your blog. Are you still doing your blog, or is that something that?
I think now the blog will be with AWS. I haven't posted in a while, but there should be one of my posts on my LinkedIn channel.
All right, perfect. So yeah, Leo just put that. Elonzo just put that. Okay, I think everybody can find your LinkedIn now. So David asks, and I'm guessing when he says what certifications did you have, he means when you were interviewing. What did you have at the time?
So I have the AWS associate and a professional.
But to be fair, you needed training after that to know what being an architect
Yeah,
is.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So after getting the professional, um, my understanding was the cloud was still blurry. So I decided to join a program to have a bridge because I was able to understand the services, but how do I put them together? I never work in the cloud, right? And I never really studied that at school. So how do I put the services together? How do I even know? Because we're talking about migration. Why do I migrate? Because you just talk about the services. So by the program, I was able to understand on premise, like what do you have on premises, and then we'll have virtualization layer. You have virtualization. We have this. We have that, and then this is how we can migrate. This is the bridge. This is how this service is kind of equivalent to this service in the cloud. And I think that's a lot when you're talking about things not changing, maybe things remaining the same. Maybe some shape or form, you can see that this you have this on premises, and there's an equivalent of that in the cloud, right? So and that's something I was able to get from the program, and now being able to create a bridge between the two different environments was very helpful. So
I like that.
Me too. I'm going to answer this, Pravan.
Yeah.
He could get another job in 5 minutes in any company he desired. He's got the right skills, the right attitude, energy, enthusiasm.
So let me read the question for those that can't see. The solution architect roles are limited to cloud provider companies
No,
itself.
they're not.
In case if you have to switch to different service firm, what are the chances of finding a job as a solutions architect?
I've never seen that being limited to cloud providers.
No, it's not limited. Big banks have them, retail organizations. We've got a lot of our students that go to, for example, KPMG, which is consulting, or Accenture, or Bearing Point. We've got a lot of people. We've got people in Apple, which is not a cloud company. We've got people in JP Morgan Chase. We have people in Cisco. We have people everywhere. I would hire Yvan to be on part of my team in about a minute and a half if he wanted it. Yvan could get another job, literally speaking, same week. His brand is so good and he's so strong. They probably interview him once and not even let him complete the interview process. He's so good. Just hire him.
Yeah.
Then again, he didn't have to finish the whole interview process with AWS either before he had experience.
yeah, so I think I'll pretty much answer that one. Do you have anyone? Any other?
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. Solutions architects are everywhere. You
Yeah,
can get it anywhere.
exactly. I mean, yeah.
All right. So let's see. Our next one. Gotta find the timestamp. 6:49. Just passed it. No, I didn't. Did I just pass it? Oh, we already did that one. Okay. Sorry, my notes are not very good tonight. All right. So Rohan asked, again, I know you can't go into too many details. Can you give an idea of how technical the skills assessment test was?
So I would say probably less technical than the solution architect associate exam. I would say, yeah, I would say it's. I mean, I felt less pressure when I was doing the skill assessment than I felt when I was doing the SSA solution architect associate. So, yeah. But it's all. I mean, it also involved a lot of the skill assessment also involved social skills, right? It's also involved social skills. So and this with this social skills question, you never really know if you answer right because you don't really know what they're looking for, right? So sometimes it's like you ish because I remember after the skill assessment, I went straight to bed and I was scared. I was like, maybe I failed this thing, not because of the technical question, but mostly because of the soft skill portion of it. And I was like, I don't know. You don't really know what they're looking for in terms of answer. So,
yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard that from several people, both ways. Like they went to bed thinking, "Great, amazing, feeling amazing," and then they find out it wasn't. And then other like you know, concerned and worried, and but that's a lot of these skills assessment tests for any job in any company and anywhere. That's how they are. It's like you said, you don't know what they
exactly.
You know, it's like there could be like 15 different right ways to do it or 15 right ways to say it. Like
absolutely,
which one's the one they want? So
I think even up to this day, I mean, I'm working for AWS, but I don't know if taking a skill assessment test, maybe because I already have some idea of the leadership principle and what the company's culture is about, maybe that can help. But before that, it was very hard to really understand or know what they're looking for.
Yep. So let's see. Mike, I'll let you speak to this one. Yvonne, I don't know if you had to deal with any of this. How hard is it to find a cloud job as an international student needing sponsorship from companies?
I didn't have to deal with it, but I know other people. Jordan, he was in the program. Jordan
Yep.
came a bit after me. Jordan had a job at AWS as an international student. So I don't know. I'm not going to say it's hard, but once they hire you, international student, I think international student after graduating from college, you have the 3 years visa, something you can change your visa and be able to work for companies. And I know also that AWS had the H-1B visa that they offer to students as well.
Mhm.
So I think I'm not going to say it's hard, but I'm going to say if you have the right skills and what you're looking, they're going to take you and they will give you that job. And maybe, yeah. So, because I know Jordan has it, and I also know maybe a couple of people from my team who also a international student, but I'm working
Yeah,
for.
no, I know several that do. And I was going to respond from an HR perspective, and you kind of said it. These companies, they have mechanisms in place. They have entire departments that are focused on getting that done for you.
Yeah.
If
Right.
you,
If you're
if
good.
they want you.
They'll get your HP knocked out.
Yeah,
Because what Mike says all the time, it's like just like Mrs. Gibbs, she talks about her shoes. She wants what she wants. You know, when you see something, if it's a brand or a person, Mercedes, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, whoever, when you see that brand and that brand is manifested into successful professionals like Yvan Tamba, you're going to want what you want, and you're going to make sure you do what you need to do to make it happen. So for any international student who is exemplifying what they want and they got all the competency, they're going to shut down an interview. We want them. Let's figure out a way to make it happen, and you're going to get your letter.
Yep,
And
exactly. The amount of money that these companies are willing to pay you as an individual, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're from Florida or Georgia or Africa or Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia. If they are all on equal footing for these roles, for these positions. Lower positions, maybe not, but for these positions that we're talking about here, if you've got it, and somebody in Georgia's got a little bit less than you, you're getting that job. It doesn't matter that it's going to be a little bit more work for them. And they want it.
And my experience in tech is, it's so hard to find someone good. You do 1,000 interviews, you find one Yvan Tamba. And if you have to bring him in from Cameroon, you'll do it. I'd say about, in my experience, 50% of the tech people working in tech companies are not American. They're either Indian, Pakistani, Eastern European, African, especially from Nigeria, but also Cameroon. And Latin America. What percentage in AWS do you feel is not American?
I don't know about the person, but I can see a lot of what the demographic you're talking about. So I think it's mostly related to competency. So that's nothing to do with your background, has nothing to do with where you come from, what school did you go to, and like you say, if you show the skill that they're looking for, regardless, they're gonna find a way. I remember one of my friends is now also working for another company, but at the time he did interview for AWS. That was back in 2000. That was last year, and he didn't even have so he couldn't even work in America. So when they reached out to him on LinkedIn, it was like, okay, it has like a very nice LinkedIn profile. It was able to accomplish in terms of certification and all this thing as well. It was like, I don't have, I can't work in America, right? But his resume was so good. It was like, okay, the recruiter said, okay, hold on, I'm going to talk to my manager and see. And then she came back and said, okay, we can work around it. If you get a job, we're gonna sponsor you. But he wasn't the type of person that to sponsor. You got to sponsor with an H-1B visa. His case was like the only way to sponsor him would be with a green card, because he didn't have any stature in America. So they was like, and they decided that if you pass the interview, we're gonna sponsor you somehow. I don't know, but like I say, it's mostly related to your skills that you have.
All related to your skills.
Yeah, it's all, yeah.
Your skills, your attitude, your enthusiasm, your passion, your willingness to work. Are you willing to go above and beyond? So don't be the person on TikTok saying you don't want to work. Don't build that. Be the person that shows how you care and you want to conquer the world with them. Not literally conquer the world, you know what I mean.
All right, let me find our next one here. Okay.
I'm getting to the point where I need to do this to read too.
Yeah, Mike, this one's for you. I'm sorry. Come out of timeout. Camilo asked, I just received my solutions architect associate. They love development. Is there a way to combine both?
Absolutely not. If you're a solution architect, your focus is to solve customer business problems with technology. It involves designing, presenting, and selling. The second you focus on the tech, you're not focusing on the business, which means you're actually a bad architect. Because if you can't solve your customer's business problem and make them more profitable, you're not doing your job, you're doing somebody else's job. So I guess the way I would describe it, Camilo, it would be like if you were a nurse and trying to play football at the same time. You'd be not at the hospital taking care of your patients, you'd be doing football. And that's why, I have to remove DevOps certifications off of people's careers. I translate software development to what the development actually did. For example, an application developer wants to say coded this thing in Java. You put that on an architect resume, it's going to be tossed in the trash. Now, by comparison, if you say design this new web application in Java, did improve customer sales by 13%, which added an additional $1 billion of revenue, now you're solving customer business problems. You have to pick it. You want to be an engineer? And an engineering career is great, Camilla. Fine. If you want to do it, love it. Or you have to be an architect, but you can't do both at the same time. You can't fly the airplane and be in the customer seats at the same time. The architects, Camilla, are not allowed to touch the customer's technology. Are you allowed to touch the customer's technology, Yvan?
No. I think my manager told me that once. So I'm not even allowed to touch the customer environment. So I can look at it. I can look at the architecture, right? But I'm not allowed to, go. Let's say the customer has an issue, and also okay, open your account and let me, do something because if something happened, and I'm not allowed to do that.
And one time, 25
straight out of the man's mouth.
And one time, 25 years ago, I did touch the tech environment, and I almost got fired for it. Now you can't be the techie and the architect at the same time. You got to pick one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I know we keep trying to use these other examples, but I'll do it again. I mean, it's just like if a building architect went to the construction site and went to the construction foreman and said, give me the tool, I'm going to go try and do this myself, and I'm going to install the sink and all the plumbing line. And the construction foreman would look at him like, what? Why are you here? I have a licensed plumber that is supposed to do this. There's no reason for the architect to come in here and try and install a plumbing line. That's the same thing that we're talking about when people ask about trying to do engineering and development and all that stuff. So, Yvan.
I think even the way to put it is like when you just even look at the interview, right? So if you go to an interview and there's no coding, it means that skills is a requirement to perform the job.
Exactly.
If it's a contract job, they're going to put it there because at least they need to know exactly. It can be it can be a plus, right? But it means it's not a requirement to get a job because if it's a requirement, they're going to put it there. So because you need it to be able to perform the job to the extent that the company is looking for you to to achieve. So that's my understanding of it. So I always look at it from the job description and also, but mostly from the interview perspective.
Right.
That's what asking you to an interview, right?
Yeah.
I think the skill that because through the interview, they're trying to assess the skills that you have to be able to be excellent or performing to the job. And if there's some skills that you don't have in an interview, and they feel like because you don't have the skills, you might not be able to deliver, they won't hire you. Simple as that.
So I'm going to just go ahead and say that Dornu, we're not going to ask that question.
I was actually responding to him in the chat box because it'll violate his NDA. But I will tell you this. The majority of our students got jobs between $120,000 and $287,000 this year. That's the range. With the average, I'd say around 160.
Yeah. So he was asking about your salary. He even gave the caveat of without getting specific, but we're not going to ask you anything about salaries because that's just not.
It's not
The answer
violating
is-
non-disclosure. Get
the
you
answer
fired,
is
and we don't want to do that. We love you.
Yeah, the answer is lucrative. You will
Yeah.
you get the more competency, the bigger the
Actually-
competition.
Actually, you're in a new apartment. You're it, right?
Yeah.
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 You're in a nicer apartment than you were before, correct?
Yeah, I think it's big.
And you told me earlier that you're able to save a lot of money now, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, there you go. That's without getting too specific.
Yeah, Yvonne's got a new apartment, able to save a lot of money.
There you
Daniel Bosu, he got a new apartment as well, new pets. Delroy he's able to buy a new house, new car, and anything else that he wants, just like that. So without quantifying, we can qualify.
Without getting too specific,
Yeah.
Yvonne's doing pretty good for himself.
Yeah.
So a question before I put up the next question. Yvonne, did your background matter?
No.
Did your work experience matter? Did your
No.
15 years of previous work experience matter?
No, I don't think
No?
so. No.
Okay. I'm going to put the next question up. I have 8 years of experience in web development. Can I be a solutions architect?
Do whatever you want.
Is that it? Let's just take that as a yes or no question. Elonzo, what's your answer? Yes or no?
8 years in web development. Can I be a solutions architect in AWS?
Just yes or no.
Yes.
All right. Yvonne, yes or no? Can they be a solutions architect?
I think you can, but yeah, definitely.
Mike, yes or no?
Of course, if he gets trained, but he can't just do it as a web
Right.
developer.
Yeah. It was yes or no. Yes, you can.
Well, you
Yes,
can.
anybody can. That's the thing. Anybody can, and it doesn't matter their background and experience. It matters, do they have the right attitude, energy, enthusiasm, training, and competency?
Yeah.
And the
So-
humility to be able to let all the stuff that you knew go. So that
Yeah.
can be so that foundation can be redone towards a cloud architect.
Yeah. So
That's a big thing there.
anyway, I just wanted to kind of make the point that it doesn't matter what you were doing before. If you want to be a solutions architect, you can be a solutions architect.
I always say it because
Do you have suggestions, Yvonne?
so I always say it because the way I like to look at it is from the perspective of education. That's what I like to look at it. Cloud computing in most colleges or university is not a major yet. It's not a major. So it simply means it will be hard for them to kind of look at a candidate from a background perspective. That's from my understanding, not from AWS, because that's how I see it, right? Because for me, it's like if you need to take a look at the background, they need to look where did you go to school, for example, right? But that's not a major yet. That's most school don't teach it, right? So I believe it's something that maybe you go and then you learn maybe by yourself, or maybe you're trying to, I don't know, go through programs. That's why I think the background doesn't matter. It's actually what you know that does matter.
And it's okay
What
you
you
didn't
know.
go to it's what you know, and it's okay you didn't go to a cloud computing school,
Yeah.
Yvonne, because you know what they teach? Certifications and sysadmin. And if I told you that I had to retrain many of the people that are getting bachelor's and master's degrees in cloud computing for them to get hired, it didn't matter where you started, you got competency.
Yeah.
You're great.
So our next question is from Lionel. And he asked, how long did it take? I think we
did
yeah,
that.
we did that one. Sorry.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Now we're getting into what it's like for you. So, what is your day-to-day like in your role?
So, in the role of day-to-day, like I say, is I'm a partner solution architect. So, what I do mostly is to, so let's say like one partner decided to join AWS partner network, right? There's a sort of requirement that they need to, to pass or validate before being able to join the program. So one of those is called the foundational technical review. So just a way, so we have like a way to assess, assess the partner solution against AWS best practices to ensure that their solution kind of follow AWS best practices. And then that's one way. That's one thing I do before having the partner working with AWS or even have the product listed on AWS. Another thing I also do call having workshop where I'm supporting the partners. Another will be like game day I mentioned earlier, a gamified way to gamify. It's like a very nice, fun way to learn about cloud computing. So we run those type of event. So like immersion days where we have this partnership with the partner and kind of work together to show at the same time how the solution can integrate with AWS. Another will be creating opportunity for the partners. So I can find the partners when they join the APN, like AWS Partner Network is the largest one in the world. We have like more than 100,000 partners. So maybe create opportunity, maybe put some partners together so they can deliver a solution for the common customer, for example. So that's what I do. Understand the partner business, understand what they're trying to achieve on AWS, and help them achieve that on AWS. Understand the partner requirement, make sure that the partner solution understand how the partner solution would help the customer and help the partner so they can help the customers.
What percentage of your day is spent in meetings?
So it just depends, but sometimes you can have a week full of meeting. We're just meeting with different partners, doing some validation for the solution. So it's not like a percentage. It just depends on how you set up the different meeting. Because sometimes you decided to set a meeting, but you can have a day where you have like 3 or 4 meetings, depending on your availability and depending on how you set them. So yeah, it can be pretty handful sometimes. So.
How much of your day is, for a lack of a better word, how much of your day is research? Figuring out how to answer a question, or how to give what question to ask, or what to tell them about, or what to. How much of your day is research?
I think before going into any meeting with a partner, you have to do research on partners. Sometimes even though sometimes you already know the partner before, sometimes it's a research about the internal tool that we have, because you feel like the partner might ask a question about this internal tool, maybe might ask a question, and knowing about this internal tool, you can better assist the partner, right? So you do a lot of research. You do research on the partner website sometimes, right, to understand the solution before going to the meetings. You also do some research, some internal research tool that we have that the partner can benefit from. So that's another type of research that you do. But the good thing is, like, sometimes they're going to ask you some questions that you don't know about, but you don't have to lie. Just say, I don't know. You can create like a follow-up meeting or follow-up email to explain that part, which is a very cool thing too, because it's very important to earn that partner trust.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of your day is probably research, prepping.
Yeah.
Calling people to find answers.
Yeah, exactly. Calling the
emails to find
the account team to understand the partner. Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of that. It's
about documenting.
Yeah, it's a lot of that too.
And presenting.
Yeah.
Have you been asked to do any white papers yet, or contribute to?
It's one of the goals. So when you join, so each member has a goal. So one of the goals is to contributing or participate. Yeah. So yeah, but I'm probably gonna do one next year. So I'm working on that.
Good.
Awesome.
So follow up to this, just to continue the conversation. Can you explain how the first 1 or 2 months would feel like when you're first hired? How do you adapt with a new working environment?
So on the first, they have AWS has a program called like all company, like the onboarding process. Even though at AWS, I don't know about other company, but it's a 90 days onboarding process. So through those 90 days, you learn about the company culture, you know more about the role. You also have another set called the Awesome Builder, where it's 3 different stages where you go ahead and show up whatever you're learning, show up your AWS skills in front of a panelist. So, but the first 3 months, it's just about you learning a lot about the company, about your role, and learning from your team member, learning from people from different from different organizations. For example, someone mentioned earlier how did they the training about any type of specialization. Like I say, if you want to go into IoT, PSC but oriented into IoT, you get assigned a mentor, and then the mentor during the 3 months you can learn a lot from the mentor and what is it to be like a PSC oriented toward IoT, for example.
That's terrific. I think Chris will be back in a very short period of time. But supportive environment. Now, if you didn't have good communication skills and good soft skills, you think others would have been so friendly too?
I I think it will be hard. It will be very hard to perform the job, and because sometimes you feel less confident and confident. I think confidence is a very important thing that you, because when you talk to a partner and you have that confidence, I think it play role. It can play a big in what you can deliver, because you're confident about your knowledge. You're confident about what you know and what you don't know, and that can be a big. So
Could you say
yeah,
that again? Be confident about what you know and what you don't know, and how important that is to communicate that to everyone.
yep, yep.
Nobody expects you to know everything.
Yeah, I mean, AWS has 200 plus services. So if you know about all the services, I mean, you're a genius. So
Or
and
you
and
just know a
plus,
little about a lot of things and not
yeah,
enough about anything to do the
and plus
job.
also knowing how to integrate,
Yeah.
that's even more complicated. So yeah.
All right. And this one is for you, Mike. I could answer it. Actually, I think I will. Actually, no, I'll let Mike answer it. Yvonne asked, can international students studying in the USA do internship and go cloud careers?
Of course they are, as long as they're part of our student family.
Yep.
We've got students doing internships in every country you can possibly imagine.
I know right now we've got
How many from Cameroon?
Cameroon and South Africa right now, outside the U.S.
Yep. And I think we have one in Nigeria that's possibly working with us. I think we had some interns in India. So yeah, we've had interns all over the world.
Yep.
We had one in England for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the good thing about it is, like, them working on the different publishing co-author with you. I mean, that's an amazing thing. That's something that you take for life, right? You can
That's
show that
true.
to your kids.
So
I mean,
far,
it worked well for you.
and 120 plus of our students have been authors.
Yeah.
On both AWS books, probably another 60 on a Google book that's in development, that's being edited right now. That's huge for building somebody's brand.
Yeah.
And those blog posts, if we haven't mentioned that as well.
Yeah. And so here we go. I like Elonzo's comment here. Let's get those likes to 100.
And subscribe and hit the bell, please, if you're not a subscriber.
Great
Because
stuff.
You
And
don't
tell
want to
your
miss.
friends. Tell your
You don't want to miss
professionals.
what's coming.
You don't want to miss this stuff.
No.
We're gonna have more stuff like we're doing tonight. We're gonna have the VP from NVIDIA. We're gonna have a fun discussion about quiet quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one.
And let's also emphasize, Chris, those that have been here for a while, how many times what we preach, we practice what we preach, and what is happening in the real world from our graduates is echoing exactly what we're training. So,
Right.
we have to, everyone can consistently see that, repeatedly, that what we talk about is what's actually happening, not only in the real world environment, but from the beginnings of their interview process. And what we talk about is what they're being successful at. So I want to make sure everyone knows that over and over again.
Exactly. That's the thing. We don't just come up with the training curriculum and program content out of thin air. Mike, time out. Mike has interviewed thousands of hiring managers. Thousands of hiring managers to find out what they actually want. And then now that we're doing this, we're interviewing people like Yvonne that have gotten the jobs and asking them, what is the job? Like right now, you all, 97 of you watching right now, are part of research. This is our research into what our program, what's going to continue the development of our program. This is what we do. We interview and we ask people, what do they want? We even have companies reaching out to us and setting up meetings with Mike and me and Elonzo and saying, here's what we need. And they give us a list of 14 things, and 12 of those things are non-technical. It's like, well, with this particular role over here, it's really a high level role. We really need somebody with application development experience, but it's not a have to have. It's a nice one just because it's specific to the role. But these other 13 things have nothing to do with it. So we come up with the training programs based on what what the industry is telling us and what the hiring managers are telling us and what the people that are actually getting the jobs and doing the jobs are telling us. So
I'll tell you what we don't do. Go get a certification and then teach a course about something we don't know. Like a lot of people.
So there was a question from King Leo. Yvan, do you remember the specs on what the equipment was that you were practicing with?
I don't remember the exact spec, but I have it on my blog because I have a blog post about how I install everything and how I deploy OpenStack and Ansible Cloud, different pictures, and I have links to either to Amazon because I think I purchased everything from Amazon. So I have the links for the routers. I have a link for the cooling system. I have a link for the for the rack as well. So everything can be found there. But I don't remember the spec. But I think it was like maybe 120 megabyte of RAM for the.
I'm sure it was 128.
And then it was probably like maybe 2 terabyte. Yeah, I think that's the minimum requirement that Mike had. I think something like that.
Yeah. I'm going to follow up and ask Mike what his suggested requirements are. So
I
didn't know if you remember the specs. But
there are some requirements.
So King Leo, you've got two options.
Before Mike does it, Mike was about to say it, so I'll let you.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, you either need a Xeon system, and it must be a server, nothing else, because you need special systems. You need a minimum of 16 cores, a minimum of 120 gigs of RAM, and 3 SSD drives in RAID 0 or an NVMe drive. Now, King Leo, you can buy the server. When Yvan bought it, things were different with the supply chains. Right now, we're dealing with $1,500 to $2,000. Having said that, you can take our course, get trained, and use our service, and not have to buy or rent anything. It's up to you. But no matter what, if you're not with us, buy a server, build a cloud, get some hands-on experience with server virtualization, containers, container orchestration, or take our course and get trained and use our servers, and it'll cost you far less money than buying the server yourself.
What were the specs on the server?
128 gigs of RAM, minimum of 16 cores Xeon system, ideally 24 cores or more, minimum of 3 SSD drives in RAID 0 or an NVMe drive.
All right.
We have a ton of these things that we let our students use. So King Leo, I think it's whatever is cheapest way for you to get educated. That's all we care about.
Woo! Wow, that's a price.
Yeah.
How much is that?
Woo! Let me. I gotta find a better price. This is.
And then you'll know why I created this program and the basic program.
Okay. All right. Let me try this one. Okay. My best price right now is $3,000. Let me look a little longer.
They weren't much cheaper, and then there was Chia coin mining, which changed things, and then there was the supply chain nightmares. So everybody bought all the refurbished servers that are up there.
Wow. Okay, well, this one's $935. That's still more than our course.
And what were the CPUs in it?
Do what?
What's the CPUs?
I'm about to look at the actual specs now. This is going to be the worst way to lay out the specs that I've ever seen. So yeah, this one's only 8 cores at $935.
Yeah, so the point is it's half of what you need.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to oh, here we go for 2,000.
Yeah, it's $2,000 is about what it's going to cost.
Yeah. 3 terabyte, 128 gigabyte, 16 core, refurbished. Yeah. And $2,000. And
especially during this time.
Yeah.
Glad I got mine.
Wow. I didn't realize they had gone up that much.
No, like I said, there was a supply chain nightmare.
I thought they were a lot last year. Wow. Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked. But yeah, so that one's almost 3 times our course. Okay,
that's what I've been trying to tell. I mean, I don't joke about nothing cost. I have a whole house for them.
We provide access to servers for you to play with.
Which costs Basically speaking, 7 times more than our basic program that includes the labs.
Right.
For
And
this,
without anyone training you. Doing
yeah,
it
that
solo. You're just sitting there with a bunch of tech.
So, here's another one for you, Yvonne, about what your work is. So, Lord Processor says, "Congrats on your role. Working with AWS partners, is it migration service you provide solutions for, or
Mm,
what? What do
so
you?"
it's not only migration because I already work on one migration case, but I wasn't the one doing the migration. I was just helping assisting a customer. In that case, it wasn't even a partner. So because usually like when we work with partner, they already most of the time they're already sometime in the cloud already. But the only time I kind of have my hands on no hands on, but kind of work with the customer regarding migration. Um, it was only once, but I wasn't even performing migration, just helping with the architecture. And yeah.
Cool. All right. So the next one's a two-parter. And I get kind of confused, but I think it clarifies in the second part. So Mick says, again, I get confused. He says, given how underpriced the Go Cloud program is, I know what Mike is going to say, compared to the quality of skills, especially soft skills, one acquires from the program, do you think you'll get an MBA? Reason being, so he says some, I say most, MBA programs won't teach these skills. So, do you have any plans at this time? Obviously, that your plans may change.
Yeah, I did have a plan earlier, but now I'm mostly thinking about learning about accounting first. So we'll see.
Accounting?
Yeah.
That's just don't let it
Well,
hurt your
business
brain too much.
Yeah, I was in accounting once.
I'm gonna say one thing, and actually, I'm gonna say one thing, and if there's anybody in the chat box that is watching this live stream that is a student, when you go to class on Friday and Dr. Johnson is teaching class, before he starts, I want you to say, Chris told me one thing. Dr. Johnson's my dad, by the way, Yvonne. He's teaching our leadership, some of our leadership classes now, and business skill classes. He's been a college professor for 35 years and ran a business before he was a professor. So people love him. But so when you come to class on Friday, everybody, I want y'all to say that Chris said inventory is not an asset. No matter what your accountant tells you, inventory is not an asset. So when you learn accounting, Yvonne, if somebody tries to tell you inventory is an asset, you say it's not an asset if I can't sell it.
Yeah.
So just because I got inventory of something doesn't mean it's an asset if it's worthless.
No,
inventory is not an asset.
Yeah, accounting is just throw me off a cliff first. It'll be less painful.
Because accountants
Oh my
live and
God.
die by inventory being an asset. And it's just not. So anyway, accounting is something good to learn, especially me personally, I wouldn't go down that rabbit hole very long, but knowing a little bit about accounting is good.
But while we're at it, we have 2 PhD university professors. We have 4 MBAs on staff now. We have a person with a master's in law and a person with a master's in economics. It's an economics professor. So, Yvonne, do you think those skills would be valuable to the architects?
Yeah, definitely the MBA skills, because that's teach about the business, and and we're heavy on the business side. So that definitely, even talking about the law, right? We're talking about Chris not putting every single question because of regarding all the different NDA and what you can say and can't say, right? That's regardless to the law. So there's so many things. So I think those are relevant to to the
When
law.
you asked you before, you said 80% of your job is business, right?
Yeah.
80%.
Right. So let's see our next. Mike, do we answer this one?
Of course, we cover these principles. So, Mauricio, the main principles of Amazon are the same principles used by Microsoft, Cisco, and any good, well-run technology customer. And in our program, we have all these things that are part of our leadership principles, which map identically to any of those principles. So yes, we teach all of them. Because it's not just AWS that wants those leadership principles. It's every company that wants them. All good companies, well-run companies.
Shanidu brings up a good point that I think I would agree with here. Speaking about accounting, if you're leaning towards understanding finance of business, finance makes more sense than accounting. If that's like what you were thinking about, was if you want to, finance.
Strategy.
Finance is what you wanna. That's what you want to learn about. Finance, not accounting.
Especially as an architect, you're going to be trying to sell $1 billion solution, and you're going to have to build the business case to show the customer that the investment's worth it. That's the exact opposite of accounting, which is where the money went.
Yeah. Sorry, I saw that pop up, and I'm like, oh,
thank you very much, Nedo.
I didn't think about that. Like, finance is what you want to do. So let's see. In a general way, can you tell us how that first phone interview was?
Very general way.
Yeah. So usually it's between 45 to an hour, and then like I say, if you have you can ask to your recruiter to provide you some information, because what they do, they can provide you maybe, because it's only 45 minutes and AWS has 16 leadership principles, so they can give you all the leadership principles within 45 minutes. So usually there's two, and the recruiter can provide what usually comes at that stage of the process, what leadership principle, and then you can work on those. And even on a technical page, sometimes they want to provide you some link where you can go and from different stuff that they can actually reduce to the cloud. So I think those the technical skills, the technical piece, technical content, then you can leverage to prepare for the interview, as well as the leadership principle can be provided by your recruiter. You just need to ask them that. And how it was, it's mostly basic, like I say, around those two pillars, and it's like 45 minutes.
All right. So our next question is from Forward, and I really don't know if this is a matter of different roles in different departments that are equal. I'm not familiar with it, but so the question is: did you start as an associate solutions architect first, and how senior is partner solutions architect?
So
we'll start with that as a first role. So I'll let you speak to that, since this is your role.
The associate is mostly related to TechU. So AWS has this training program called TechU. It's a 6-month apprenticeship program where it's like school, or you go and they teach you about cloud computing. So you're an associate, I believe, when you go through the program. So after the 6 months, when you join the team, you can join, because after the 6 months, now it's up to you to decide what team to join. You can join the solution architect, public sector. You can join the partner solution architect team. So you decide whatever team you want to join. Like there's many other teams. So when you join the team, that's when you become either solution architect or partner solution architect, depending on the role that you choose. And how senior is partner solution architect? There's no, when you start, you're not. I didn't start as a senior. Right? I didn't start as a senior. I just started as a partner solution architect. So that would be solution architect 1. You can be solution architect 2, solution architect 3, and then from there, so solution architect 3 is actually senior. So,
and I'll address this from being an architect forever. You will see architects having $300,000 and $400,000 jobs that work in a channel, and there you'll see people that are very senior in a channel. Because here's the thing: if a channel partner can go work with some other company and they can go sell billions of dollars, they're paid very well. If the partner can work and negotiate big partnerships to create a more secure cloud solution, like dealing with a Palo Alto or a Fortinet, then they're going to be very senior. All of these roles have junior, regular, and senior, distinguished, and principal roles. Doesn't matter when you're in the partner side or whether you're on the direct sales side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So definitely you can start as a senior. It just depends when you apply. You can apply for a senior role. Just like just apply like I say for a junior role, which is like TechU, the associate 1, or just So
you, in short, you didn't do the associate's role because
Yeah, I didn't start.
you came in above that. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I came in above that.
Gotcha.
Came in above that, no experience, with proper training.
Yep.
And I say this because there's somebody in there again, even though he said it doesn't matter. Yvan was a waiter, and I practiced medicine before I went into tech. And they asked the question again. I worked in tech. Is my background good enough? Anybody can be a cloud architect or a solution architect with the right training.
Yes.
Anyone.
All right. So let's see. Our next question is from LK. What are some of the challenges in your role?
That's a interesting questions.
Yeah, I got some good questions.
Yeah.
I like this ability to be able to talk about someone that's actually doing.
Yeah, great. It's great.
Yeah.
So I would say one of the challenges is to really, is you always have to update yourself, right? Always need to. It's a constantly learning journey. So you always need to learn, right? So that can be very challenging because you cannot just say, okay, I know about the services, and there might be one update on that service, there might be one plus that they can have. So you need to constantly learn about new things. That can be challenging because you need to keep yourself updated. The other thing will be to when you're trying to create like an opportunity, for example, for partners, right? That can be challenging because sometimes there's some partner comes in and maybe we have some internal requirement that might be hard for the partner to meet, but you really like maybe the solution and trying to help the partner. So that can be very challenging to do. Another challenging thing will be to like I say, like really helping the partner because sometimes you might find some difficulty creating opportunities for partners so they can have that beautiful experience on the cloud. So that's something that can be quite challenging. Another challenging for me is coming down to communications, right? Because sometimes I want to be able to communicate, to convey the right message, right? Not giving too much, not giving some extra that the partner doesn't need, right? So that's very challenging as well. The communication piece of the job, and yeah, I think basically that's maybe the three thing I can mention. I can talk about as the what the challenges thing that I'm facing right now. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Pavan asked Mike. I think this is asking. First, he says the session is awesome. Thank you very much. We work hard to put these on. He's asking, can we also bring anyone from cloud engineer roles? And I'm guessing the way that I'm interpreting that is, can that someone that's in a cloud engineer role become an architect? That's how I interpret that.
Well, the cloud engineer will need complete retraining to be a cloud architect. Now, I'm getting to the point right now, I'm not recommending cloud engineering at all. And the reason I'm not recommending cloud engineering right now is, with what's going on in the recession, organizations need people that bring in money. And engineers are an expense to an organization. So when we go through recessions, here's what happens. They hire more salespeople, they hire more architects, and they lay off engineers, and they then outsource engineering roles to lower cost parts of the world. So right now, we're pretty much focusing mostly on architects. We are training some wonderful cloud engineering students, and we're also going to make sure they've got the business acumen to be 10 times better than anybody else in the world, so they're hired, because being hired matters to everything. But right now, Pravan, I'm not going to recommend cloud engineering careers. Not that it's a bad career. We love the career and we love cloud engineers. But, we're in a recession.
All right. So happy times. Send an email to support@gocloudcareers.net. I don't know if Happy Times is still here.
That's okay. I told them to send an email to info@gocloudcareers.
Oh, okay. Either way, they all get to our team. So,
Yep.
So I'll let Yvonne take this one first. Apart from the course studies, what are some of the exam test prep that was useful for solutions architect and professional?
Apart from-
I'm not even sure what they mean by course studies,
Me
but
either.
I believe maybe the cost traders. So the test prep, I don't know if I'm supposed to.
No,
So
no.
if you can't, if
If you
you're
can't, I
not,
suggest you not.
okay,
yeah, I think on Udemy you can find I don't know. Yeah.
yeah,
I
let's not.
think, yeah. Don't worry about where you found it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the key was you had certifications, and after the certifications, you needed training to be a cloud architect.
getting the passing a test is passing a test.
Yeah.
And recently it was Delroy Batt was recently hired as a cloud security architect. He has 0 cloud certs. And the last really good job we had with Robert, he had the cloud practitioner. We've got so many people getting hired without cloud
Yeah.
certs.
Sorry. Once I put that question up, I realized what it was actually asking, and I'm like, yeah, passing a test is passing a test.
That's it.
All right. Let's see. I agree with you, Mr. Businessman. I agree.
Couldn't agree more.
Couldn't agree more. Those accounting classes in my MBA were the worst experience of my life, but I did like finance.
And I know you already addressed this, Mike, but let's just say it again. Leho asked, "Hello there, Mike, sir. You're the best." Yes, I couldn't agree more. My question is, I am an IT support engineer, desktop and application support. I've been doing this for the last 15 years. Can I become a cloud architect? Let me do this again. Let's go around the table. Elonzo, can they become a cloud architect?
Yes.
Yvonne, can they become a cloud architect?
Yes.
Mike, can they become a cloud architect?
Yes.
All right. What do they got to do?
They got to get training to be an architect. Now, I want to make it very clear. Yvonne is hired with 0 tech experience. Coyote, who's a wonderful person, was at AWS with 0 tech experience. Now, we had Joe Millen, for example, that was a networking guy, and 3 weeks later is a senior solution architect. But we had Jennifer, who was a mental health tech that got hired by a big bank.
Mm-hmm.
We had Delroy Batt, who was taking patients back and forth to the hospital on ambulances as his last job, and he's now a cloud security architect. We had someone selling landscaping gear who got hired by Microsoft as a cloud architect. So, of course, the answer is yes, you can.
Yeah, I like Leo's answer here also. He says, yes, with the right attitude and training, anyone can.
Yep. The program works if you do.
And I'd like to point back to what Yvonne shared with us earlier. I'm not going to go back through his entire story, but the determination to do what you want to do.
Tenacity.
You're actually determined and truly determined to accomplish a goal, you're going to accomplish that goal. So if your goal is to become a cloud architect, you're going to become a cloud architect. It's great that you've got 15 years of experience in a previous career. That is actually really, really great.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't matter what it is, though.
No.
Yeah.
But it's very useful. And just the fact that you can say that I was in this career, in this industry for 15 years is great. And that will help you more than you think when it comes down to interviews and getting your foot in the door. If you can show that you were consistently in the same industry for that long of a period of time, even though you're trying to move to something new, that will show greatly on your resume.
And the salaries will be much higher based upon tech experience. Most of the salaries we've had that have been between 200 and 300 are people that have worked in tech before. It wasn't anything related to architecture, and we needed to completely retrain them because you can't your old job doesn't prepare you for your new job. But the plan is you can do it. Well, George, we'd love to help you get there and love to have you on this channel 6 months from now when you're cloud hired.
Yep. Let's see. Yuri's race. This is a great session. I love all the time you guys put into this. We put a lot of time into this. We really do. But what I appreciate is Yvan
Yes.
coming back.
Yeah.
And any of the people that join us on this show, because Yvan actually had to plan over a month out for us to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Like, that's how difficult it is for us to get our working alumni to come on. And it's not difficult because they don't want to. It's difficult because it's difficult to schedule professionally employed individuals. I mean,
They're in high demand.
it was something else to try and coordinate Mike's birthday. Yvan was actually supposed to be there.
That's true. Yeah, I was supposed to be there. Yeah.
But guess what? He had to work, unfortunately, at the last minute. He was so, like, I didn't actually talk to him, but I saw he sent me a message, and I could tell just from the tone of his message that he was so upset that he wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
But that's just the nature of the business. We actually had a contingency plan as a backup in case something happened that prevented Yvan from coming to be able to join us, because he is a working professional. It's actually very difficult. So I'm glad that they appreciate the time that we put into this, but I really appreciate the time that Yvan, Bob, Delroy, everybody that's had the opportunity and has been able to make it work, because I know how hard it is to make it work, to be able to get on here. That's what I appreciate.
And I also appreciate one more thing about Yvan. Look, we give everyone everything they need to do to get hired, but he did the work. It's not enough just to buy a course. Yvan did the work. He let nothing, no hardships, going to class, working while he was in class, stop him. He had the attitude, energy, enthusiasm, and the passion. And even when he did that, he was still collaborating, helping others. So Yvan, I'm thrilled you're here. I'm beyond proud of you.
Thank you.
No idea how highly I think of you, and I'm just thrilled to see you.
And there's something else that Yvan does, and it's not just Yvan. I'm fairly certain that every single person that has come on our YouTube channel, and probably every single alumni, is helping at least one other person that's here.
Yeah, definitely.
Paying it forward. Yep.
You're paying it forward. And I don't know about it until somebody's like, oh yeah, so-and-so, like Jawad was helping me with this the other day. And I'm like, oh, Jawad, I haven't heard from Jawad in like forever. And they're like, oh yeah, he's been helping me with this thing for quite a while. I'm so excited about it. And, I hear from people about you and Coyote and Joe and just everybody that has had the success. It's from what I've been able to tell, it's important to you guys to give it back.
No, absolutely.
It's not, we don't make you do it, but apparently you guys are doing it. So that's another thing that I really appreciate, and not just giving back to the people that are in our program, but giving back to the community as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, just like for me, it's like, I was a student once, like I was part of the program once, and I think I benefited a lot from the program, because like me being in college and sitting in the same program, someone like Praveen, I was like 20 years of experience in database, and when we were coming down to talking about database, was able to explain things so clearly I was able to understand what's going on. So I feel like I benefited a lot from the program. It was not only about what I did pay, I get more than that. And I always feel like it's always good to also help other people, if they can achieve, or they can, also help other people get a job into the cloud, regardless of the company that they end up working for.
Yeah. And speaking of people that are giving it back, since I'm putting Mike in timeout consistently this week, Mike is not teaching class on Thursday.
Yeah.
We will have Praveen back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Praveen's going to be doing.
Bonus.
Praveen is a working cloud architect at JP Morgan Chase. I know Yvonne's familiar with Praveen.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he
is so knowledgeable, and
and he's just a fun guy.
He is
great
fun.
guy.
Yeah, he's fun. He's brilliant, and he's giving back. Just like we were talking about. He's going to be teaching. He's going to be teaching Thursday's lesson, and that's that's Praveen's way of giving back. And I know Praveen's doing it other ways, just like I know Yvonne, you've done work with Cloud Heroes Africa, just like a lot of people in our program have, even people that are still in the program are doing that. I know Chris is a big part of that.
Huge.
But anyway, so I just wanted to take the time. They were thanking us. I wanted to make sure that I acknowledged everything that the people in our program do. So Pavan says, your shirt looks great. The transformation from an earlier interview video with Mike to this showcases your success. Yeah, I mean that was college. That was college.
Yeah, that was college, man.
That was college Yvonne with the smiley face T-shirt.
Y'all should have saw my college gear.
Professional. This is professional, Yvonne.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you had the same competency.
Yeah.
You have the same business. You have the same skill set. You just got you've got a uniform now.
That's what it is the uniform.
Yeah.
At some point, the uniform becomes an Armani suit. You'll see, it's coming.
So,
Thank you very much.
all right, let's see what else we got. We're in case you can't tell everybody, we're starting to wrap it up. We're getting to the end here. So if there's any last questions, make sure to put them in the chat box. So let's see here.
I have something to say to everyone in Houston when we get a second.
I was just reading your thing. I'm like, man, you're making this too complicated over here.
Oh no! Hey, I got to formulate it right. So everyone, I've been getting emails, texts, all this stuff about when are you going to have a meeting, Elonzo? What's going on? So here we are. We are here. We are there. We're going to have an actual event, our first Houston Go Cloud Careers meet and greet. I want to have it next Friday. We've got all the details in the Slack channel. If you're not there, look for the Woodlands, Houston, Sugarland channel. If you're in the area, in the vicinity, you can make it. I already have a survey for it, where you guys would like to meet. I have 3 selections. Go for it, and then that's where we're going to be. So the deadline cutoff is going to be on Saturday at noon. Vote. If not, then I'll pick the place. We're going to go have some fun, talk about the cloud, get to know each other. So I am excited to finally meet everybody, and I hope to see you all there.
Man, the people in Houston, I don't know what y'all are gonna do. They have it a lot. I guess they have it a lot better than the people over here in Florida, because when we did one in Tampa, me and Camille said, okay, what do we want to do? And then we went and told everybody else this is what we're doing.
I'm trying to be a little democratic because
see my philosophy.
It's such a large area, and I got to make sure that it's kind of like within the vicinity of everyone. So trying to find like a middle ground I want to make sure everybody can make it.
Yeah. Well, see, my philosophy was if I can just get at least one other person, that's a decision, and then everybody has to live with it. And so, but not to be one-upped. Everybody that's on the Meetup Florida channel on Slack, there's 24 of you. I just put a message in the channel that said
we have 25.
We have 24.
Oh, wow.
I'll go find some more people. I'll go get the people from Georgia, okay? All right? But meet up people in Florida. Let me know what you're doing Saturday, November 5th. The wife is going out of town. Let's have some fun. So,
I like it.
all right, let's get back to the questions here.
I was thinking about a group yoga day in Palm Beach.
See, that's why I said, what's everybody doing Friday? I think it's Saturday, November 5th. Exactly. Yep. All right. Let me get back to the questions here. So here we go. Wes asks, he says he sees most of our students are doing commercial careers. Is cloud architecture career the same for the government as it is the commercial world?
Yes, I worked in that, but here's the difference. When you work in the civilian world, you get paid 2 to 3 times more.
Mm-hmm.
You also work harder, but it's up to you. But yes, there's plenty of government jobs that you can do this.
Here's a good one. I'll let Yvonne answer this one first.
Okay.
Pavan says, who will help us in case we have questions on the labs? Who helped you in the program, Yvonne?
I think there's other students that did it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Community.
I think I had an issue when I was setting up, doing my IP addressing for my server. But I don't remember his name. But there was one student that I was able to reach out, and he helped me because he was even in Atlanta. Yeah, because at the time it was in Atlanta. Yeah, he I think we spent like maybe 30 minutes on it because it was kind of strange. Yeah. So the student just helped me. Yeah.
So that's the benefit of our program. Our program is community based.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are
Just
so
talking about it.
many smart, competent, and capable people in the program that it's not reliant just on me or Mike or Elonzo. It's reliant on everyone to make the community successful.
But our team does review the homework assignments.
Yeah, exactly.
Homework assignments. The labs, the tech labs.
But I think for the labs, you know when you're able to deploy it.
Right. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. You don't need
it
someone
works when it works.
You don't need someone to tell you that once you're able to deploy a container, right? And into that you set up a hypervisor, because the hypervisor is working, you're able to deploy Linux OS on it, you're able to deploy a container. And I believe during the time there was a video like in a course program Mike was saying how to deploy it and the end result, I believe. So even watching those videos can help you as well.
Yep.
That's
exactly what I was going to say. You don't need feedback. If it works, it works. But the community is there to help you along the way if you need it.
But here's the thing we need to address this, Pravan. The labs are the least important part of the program because architects don't touch the technology in their job. Yvonne, are you allowed to touch the technology?
No, I'm not allowed to touch
the technology. We do the labs so you have the competency to know what it is. But the biggest part of this job, Yvonne, is soft skills, executive presence, communication skills, leadership skills. Is that your experience too, Yvonne?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, since I've started, I haven't. I don't need a server. I don't have any more servers.
Yeah, he got rid of the server when he left Atlanta. He's like, I don't need that anymore.
I don't have a server. Yeah, but it was like just my saying. It was nice because it allowed me to have a better understanding of the cloud and be able to deploy whatever's happening in the cloud and do it on my own. So, yeah.
I think that I like this one. From what I gather, they haven't reached their goal cloud architect career. But LK says, I'm a current student who was in sales when I started, and I've gotten promoted to incident management using the interview skills I learned from Mike. And,
we love hearing that. Okay.
Yep.
And we hear it all the time.
Yep. Right. Yep. Let me get back up here. Okay. So, so as I told everybody, if you're in class on Friday, you have one thing that you have to say. You have to tell Dr. Johnson and Dr. Long that the only thing that you learned from Chris is that inventory is not an asset. That's all you have to tell them. That's all you've learned from me. You've learned nothing else.
I totally agree with that, even though it doesn't conform with GAAP accounting, but GAAP accounting is crazy.
Right. Thank you very much. And that's why we told you to go with finance, Yvonne.
Okay. Yeah. Word to the wise. Word to the wise.
Let's see. So this one's true. Anthony says Mike is always raving about you. He really cares about his students. This program is unlike anything else out there.
Yeah, true.
Thanks, Anthony, and I always do. I always say I wish Yvonne was my son because I didn't have kids, and you and Delray and Daniel are like the three kids that I just want to adopt.
No, thank you very much, Mike. I mean,
I think
me,
that highly of you.
Yeah, that's true. This is really family, Even at the end of it, we're still in touch with different people. I have other people from the program. Sometimes they're working on their own for another company, and the design and architecture. And I'll be like a slide, like a text. Okay, I'm trying to do this. Do you think I can use S3 here? And I think remember you were saying that after the program, I believe is that you're gonna keep the network together, and maybe sometime you're gonna reach out to someone else asking how to do this on the cloud. And sometimes I have that people reaching out asking, they're already working as a cloud architect, solution architect, and asking if this is the right thing to do. So it's really family. It goes beyond the program. So that's really how.
And that
Like,
was
even
part of my
even
goal.
even the meetings from different cities. I remember when I was in Nanana, we had some meetings. Right? We were meeting at a different coffee shop. Yeah.
My goal was for you to develop a network architect like I have. And that way you could call anybody you needed when you needed help throughout your entire career. Now, Chris made that possible with Slack, but
You're welcome.
thank you.
It was about as hard as keeping Mike in timeout. Okay.
Very, yeah.
Okay, says thank you for your transparency, Yvonne.
You're welcome.
Isaias says Yvan Tamba is a real inspiration, not just for where he is, but where he has been.
Absolutely.
It's like the iceberg with the tip out of the water, but a deep well of resources below.
Completely.
You got to stop talking, Mike. You're dedicated and focused on achieving that goal, unrelenting until it was
Isaias he is from the Dominica Island. I had a conversation with him.
Yep.
Great guy.
And we got to talk with those banks down in Dominica. Yeah, they're crazy. But anybody in the Nashville area? Joey P's looking for a meetup in Nashville. Joey P, if you're in the program, send me a message on Slack. I got a Nashville group that I can add you to.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Cashville, as they call it now.
Yeah, Lady Godiva says I'm trying to compete.
Trying. She's trying. He's trying.
She's amazing.
All right, I'm going to take this one, Mike. You don't get the answer. Wes asks, if I do all the courses and the videos and the cloud architect training, is there a final exam to graduate, a review board to attend? Okay, I'm going to start with Yvonne. Be completely honest. Did you do every single thing in the training program?
No, I didn't. Like I said,
okay, you graduated when you got hired.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's as simple as it is. The verification of your competency is that you're able to
land a job.
You are able to successfully conduct an interview. We have 6 architecture designs in the program that you should do. I don't know. Yvonne may not have even gotten to the architecture designs, but from what I heard from Yvonne, he was listening to the recordings of the architecture designs that were in the live classes.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he was learning from that. But if you do one of the architecture design assignments or you do all 6, if you do all, 500 hours worth of recordings or you do 50, it doesn't matter how much your completion percentage is or if you get a certificate. Your certificate. Yvonne, how big was your onboarding packet at AWS? Was it more than 1 page?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So your certificate, your final exam is the interview. Your certificate is the job offer with your entire onboarding information. And that's your certificate.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Yvonne's certificate laid out start date, laid out expectations, laid out salary, laid out bonus structure, laid out benefits package, laid out vacation time, laid out, health insurance. Yeah, all that stuff. That's on your certificate. So anyway, so we have a certificate. I mean, if you complete all the stuff, we can give a certificate, but
that won't give you the job, right? So
right.
So and it's always something like people will come and ask, like, if I join a program, how long before I get a job? Like, I joined a program, like I say, I have my goal was to stay in a program, was to get the job before going to my last my last year of college. So, and because of that, I knew that I have to put a little more effort into it, right? So you decide your own time frame. You came in a program for a month, 2 months. I think Mario, which is the senior architect at AWS, was in the program maybe for a month, I believe. He didn't stay very long, and then he got a job. So
Yeah.
It's how dedicated you are, and
Yeah, it's all relative. I mean, you might have, an entire family to support and grandparents that are living with you that you have to take care of, and you're working a full-time job, and you're going to night school. You may not be able to get it accomplished in a month. But again, at the end of the day, it's about what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your ability to do the job. Like I said, so yeah, we there's no final exam. There's no review board. There's just your experience in the program. I think the litmus test that we like to use is if you start to get bored with the solutions that we're trying to design in class, then you're ready.
Yes.
if you get bored with the solutions that are being designed in class, then you're ready. If you want to know when you're ready, that's how you know you're ready. At that point, it's just a matter of making sure you have all the soft skills.
The soft skill,
Yeah.
It goes it, yeah.
Can we address Provence, because it's the most dangerous question I hear every single day?
Oh gosh, yeah. I was actually really surprised. I was like, we've gone 3 hours and haven't had this question.
Provence, if you choose to study to be a cloud engineer, you'll be a cloud engineer. Nobody wants an engineer as an architect. An architect is a business executive that does not touch the technology. Do you touch the technology, Yvan?
No.
Are you allowed to touch the technology in your career?
I'm not allowed to touch a customer account.
And you just told me that 80% of the tech career is business.
Yep.
So if you train all engineering and your focus is on engineering, Provence, you're going to have no concept on how to do architecture. It's like trying to go to school to be a mechanic and then expect to learn how to fly a plane. You want to be a doctor, you go to medical school. You want to be a lawyer, you go to law school. Now, Provence, I've interviewed 6,000 people in my career. And if I told you that 99% of them were not hireable because they had the skills to somebody else's career. And that's why we get cloud architect students hired every day without experience, because we train them for the architect career, not somebody else's. If you're focused on certification and Python and Terraform and all that other engineering stuff, you will not be hireable as an architect. You'll be hireable as an engineer. So the question is, which career do you want? Train for your job and not somebody else's.
You're not going to be successful trying to combine the two and stack them, because I get the rationale that you thinking that I can be valuable and combine this value to be some sort of unicorn, but it's not going to happen that way. It's quite the opposite of what you're thinking. Nope, they want one or the other. They don't want a conglomeration of the two skill sets, because although both are they need each other, they're symbiotic, but you got to be one or the other. You can't be both.
No, and Chris
Delta Airlines is not going to hire an airline pilot because he knows how to repair a plane.
Right.
They're going to hire an airline pilot because that person knows how to fly the plane. Not repair, not build, not tinker, but fly.
And and Chris, how many times have you heard CEOs and CIOs and other companies come to us and say, we don't want a techie as an architect?
Right.
The reason we like your people as our architects, we don't want techies. How many times have you heard that?
I can't. Now it's easier for me to count how many times our students come back and say, hey, this company wants to find more of me. That's how it's because we literally had a student that said, yeah, so I think I did too good on the interview because the company asked where I got my training because they wanted to send an internal candidate that didn't get the job.
Yeah.
Yes, an engineer.
So the internal candidate got passed over. So the company wanted to send this internal candidate to our training because
this student never worked in tech before in his life.
So
this will be a first tech job, and they wanted our student to know where he went to school because the engineer they had internally applied for an architect job, but he only had engineering skills, not architect.
And we've had another company that came back to us and said, so one of your program participants interviewed for our company, but unfortunately they accepted another role. Do you have anybody else? So it's
And do you
That's
remember?
that's what it is. I mean,
Yeah, it's just that. And last year in June, do you remember when a director from AWS came to class and he said, "Thank God you're training people to be something other than engineers, so we
Yeah.
can't hire engineers as architects."
yep, yep,
So no matter how many times we say it, people want to train for somebody else's job, and then they're going to be frustrated why they can't get their job. Pravaan, you're a smart guy. Train for your career. Do you think an Olympic gymnast trains to swim? No.
No, you train exactly for what you're looking.
yeah.
And like I always, like I always say, it's mostly kind of related to the interview process. So maybe don't take a look at the job requirement, because sometimes it has more than what you'll be asked during the interview. But if you find a job that you're kind of interested about, maybe if you have the possibility to talk to someone who already maybe went through the process, and ask them if what they were interviewing and during the interview is what's listed on the job ID description. That's how you can know exactly what skills needed for the position. Because I
Yeah.
always, in the interview, they're gonna ask you, they're gonna interview on the skills needed for the role.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've never had more than 10% of the skills in a job description, and I've never been on an interview where I didn't get hired.
Yep. Time out. All right.
I love it. I love it. Cloud comedy.
Yvonne, how many years of experience did you have before you got your job?
None.
Okay.
I was still in college, so
All right. So Yuri's race asked, how many years of experience at the most do I need to work in a cloud architect? Or is there none?
yeah, no.
None.
The cloud is pretty new.
Competency.
The
Zero.
cloud is pretty new, so it's really hard to ask for experience. I mean, especially at a certain level, right? I believe certain level is really hard because the cloud is pretty new. But I didn't have any.
I mean, it's experience is a bad, horrible metric
Yeah, exactly.
to measure competency. Like that's what they try to use experience as a way to measure competency,
See.
and it's not.
Yeah.
Like it can't be. It's just it's a bad metric. Like it's just a bad substitute.
And I like what you say, because I remember watching a video and a guy was saying you can have someone saying they have a 20 years experience, but maybe they've been doing the same thing wrong for 20 years.
Yeah.
Horribly wrong.
Got
For
20 years of reinforced errors.
Yeah, I mean, practice does not make perfect. Mike says this all the time, but practice doesn't make perfect.
Right.
Practice just makes permanent. It makes whatever you're doing permanent. Now, if you practice perfectly, then there you go. That's a completely different story. Or if you practice perfection, then you're going to get to the right result. But just because you're doing something over and over again
Doesn't mean that you
or
don't.
just because you've been in a role. I mean, I'll point blank tell you, I'm the worst general manager that there ever was in a hotel. But I had that role for like 4 years. But I was horrible at it because I'm not good at that job. I'm good at development and big scale operations. I'm not good at the day-to-day operations of a company, but I had 4 years of experience. So other people would look at it and be like, this guy's got 4 years of experience in an industry where the average is 3. Oh, we got to hire him. You sure about that? You sure you really want me to run that hotel?
But while we're at it, I'm going to take the perspective of a hiring manager. Chris is an incredibly competent chief operating officer. Chris, did I ever look at your resume?
Not once.
Did I ask where you went to school?
No, not until we started talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Did I put you through a rigorous internship to see what you could do?
Did you do what now?
Put you through a rigorous internship. You terminated early once I saw what you could do.
Only because I told you had to.
Yeah. Now, I'm here as the CEO, and I'm letting my chief operating officer tell me to be quiet to rest my voice.
And he's letting me say that I was a horrible blah, 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 blah.
Yep. And if you came here with that T-shirt with a cat that says I'm allergic to humans, I'd still be thrilled because Chris is that good and he's that valuable to me and to our customers and our students. He's that good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So,
I do like that shirt, by the way.
So let's see. Oh yeah. So no years of experience required. Oh wow, that's amazing. It sure is. All right, Raleigh, Durham people. King Leo says he wants to meet up in Raleigh, Durham.
Love that place.
Yeah, we already answered that one. Specialized knowledge is the name of the game.
Exactly.
That's correct. Yep. All right. So I see this in the chat box, so that means that we need to wrap it up. So let's get a hashtag cloud hired in the chat box. Let's thank Yvan for joining us tonight. And let's tell Mike to save his voice.
And let's everybody give a thank you in the chat box to Yvan Tamba.
Yes.
And a hashtag as well for Yvan Tamba.
Just give us a hashtag just for the sake of a hashtag.
Right.
Save
your voice, Mike.
Lawanda, I need you to send me a message on Slack. Actually, you know what? Not that I don't get enough messages as it is on Slack, but if you're not in a channel that has the word meetup and you're in our Slack community,
yes,
meaning that you're a student, if you don't have access to a channel that says meetup, we've got like 50 of them,
right,
one for each area. If you're not in a channel that has meetup, send me a message. I'm going to regret this. Send me a message telling me what metropolitan area you are in. You know, if you're like me and you grew up in a town of like 15,000 people, you got to tell me what the city is. It's an hour and a half from you. Okay, I need to know. Don't tell me the other town is 15,000 people. Just tell. I lived an hour and a half from Memphis, so.
And I'll share the load. If you live in the greater metropolitan Houston area and you're not a part of the meetup channel, reach out to me via Slack because I want to make sure everyone can make it. I know how hard it's been to try to collaborate, meet, and get this going. So let's make the best of it, okay?
Yep. So yeah, so send me. And this is also for international people. If you're international outside the United States, send me a message of what country. Oh God, they're already coming. Send me a message of what country you're in. If you're in the United States, send me what city you're in, or say what city you're close to. But yeah, if you're outside the United States, send me a country. Yvan, do you have any last words for us?
So thank you very much, guys, for having me here. So the only thing I can say to all our students or people who will be able to attend the live is have your goal. If your goal to be constitution architect, then just find the skills that you need to that you need to acquire to be able to successful in that role or get a job, and then just work towards it. Like I say, Google is an amazing program, but you have to take really benefit from the program and really dive deep into the program to really get out of the substance that the program can offer for you to succeed as a solution architect. I hope you all the best, and you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll be glad to also help you in anything or anything that you have.
It's been a pleasure, Yvan. It definitely heard so much about you. We never had a chance to converse in person and one-to-one, but it's been a pure joy seeing you succeed like this. I love it.
Thank you very much, Elonzo.
Yvan, I am so excited to see you. So happy to see you. So grateful for sharing your knowledge. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Mike.
And for everybody that's putting where you are in the YouTube chat, put it in the Slack. Send me a message in Slack. Direct message Chris Johnson, Chief Operating Officer, in Slack. Send to me on Slack. So I can't take what's in YouTube and transfer it over to Slack. So send it to me in Slack. So since I'm putting Mike in timeout and he can't talk, I'm not allowing him to talk.
Nope.
I want to make everyone aware of the things that we have coming up. So tomorrow we have our interview session that will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We have next week, we have our AWS Bootcamp that will start on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Tuesday next week, we also have Alvin DaCosta the vice president from NVIDIA, will be joining our program next Tuesday night. Then in November, we have our AWS Advanced Networking Bootcamp, plus what you really need to know. And that will be in November. And then we've got all kinds of other things that are going to be coming up over the next couple of months. So make sure that you are following Mike and Go Cloud Careers on LinkedIn. We're actually going to be announcing, I guess this is me announcing it now. Again, we will be sharing details about how to win a free enrollment to our career development program. We will be giving out one free enrollment every week for 4 weeks. We will be sharing those details with you, but you probably want to follow LinkedIn so that you know all those details. So we will be announcing that very soon as well. So wasn't expecting to announce that, but boom, that's how my mind works. Mike, any last words?
Short, brief words.
Short, brief words. Honestly, Yvan, I was just thrilled that you were here to share your knowledge. One of the things for us that matters is getting everybody hired and creating an environment where people actually help each other and have a degree of honor, integrity, and family. You exemplify that in every way, in literally every way.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Your work with Cloud Heroes Africa, which is part of which we partnered with. Your work with our students. Your work with AWS. Just grateful to see you. I admire you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night, everyone.